Hello, everyone. Hello, friends, and welcome back to After the Fire, our Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire tabletop role-playing campaign. We are back for season number 5, he says, 95% confidently. I can count. Good. Nice. Hello to everyone in chat. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Lady Purple. Hello, Totem. Hello, Hell's Bells. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. We are pretty excited, nervous, ready to find our feet again in the world of Westeros. Because we were surprised ourselves that today, as we were chatting in our little Discord about how long it had been since we wrapped up the last season. Only December, like only about 3 years ago. It feels, which is just madness. So we'll see how it goes. This session is very much going to be a finding our feet again. And a big warm welcome to Amelia Tyler, who is joining us now for the cast. Let's go around in our usual fashion from the top, have a little chat to everybody, and particularly welcome in Amelia as well. Susie, you're first on my little overlay. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm super hyped for ATF to be back. I'm like, in the 3 years since we last played, I chilled out a minute, but then beginning of this week, I was like, oh, ATF is back. And I've been back on my bullshit again. So poor Justin has had to hear me ranting and raving about all the stuff and how I'm gonna conquer Dawn and how Marin Martell is gonna get it. Gonna feed him to sharks. Maybe. It's one of many plans.
You can try. You can try.
Can certainly try.
Got to
Yes.
get there first. And you put together this beautiful portrait for Millie, which we got a little preview
Check
of.
out the nose.
The nose. Everybody look at the nose, look at the philtrum, which is the posh name for the snot canal, as it was described to me yesterday. The snot canal. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, let's post it on Twitter later, in a proper
Yeah.
nice thing. But if you want to check it out, Susie had it on stream. She did chilled paint stream yesterday.
Yep.
Was it yesterday? God, fuck me life. Days
No,
are
it was
turning into weeks
Thursday.
now.
It was Thursday because we
Right?
did Framing Friday
Yes.
yesterday.
Yes, we did.
But
Yes, we
yes.
did. Yeah. So it's on Thursday. It'll be on your VOD still. So check it out
Mhm.
because you get to see this beautiful
I
piece
did
in progress.
actually record the stuff I did off stream, so I'm gonna edit all together with a time lapse so you can see it go from
Oh,
blob
that's so
to
cool.
slightly better blob to even better blob to face.
That's beautiful. I'm there for that. Yeah, I can't wait. Cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you want to check that out, then it's Susanna Grace on the Twitches. There we go. And coming back, having moved our time to a Saturday for you, sir. Welcome back to Jason. How are you, my friend?
I am absolutely marvelous. I
Good.
am so happy to have been invited back and to be able to come back. Yeah, I've definitely been out of the saddle for a little while in terms of RPGs in general. And coming back to this just feels so warm and welcoming and back to a home game almost. But yeah, I'm happy to see what Simon gets up to this season and happy to yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And star of game and screen, the one, the only, Amelia Tyler. How are you, my friend?
I'm awkward now. I'm really awkward. I don't do nice things. Stop saying nice things to me. I'm too English. Hi, everybody.
No,
No,
you
I'm
are
good.
welcome here. You are very welcome
Yay.
here, so stop it.
Ah, you're making it worse.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm sort of midway through sort of moving all my stuff from my old house to where I live now. And I just realized that I should maybe have thought that through a little bit more when I was going to put my wig on and went, well, there's no glue for this then. So if this goes flying off my head midway through a scene, just call it excitement. We'll write it into the law somehow.
Honey, if your wig goes, it's a reveal, okay? That's all
Yeah,
that's all we'll have
yeah.
on this
That's
channel is
that's. Oh
reveals.
God, it's just bald now. It's the stress.
That's fair.
Westeros is stressful.
That's fair. Cool. Yeah. Well, look, welcome in. I'm very excited for you to be here.
Thank you for having me.
Can't wait to see what you bring to Lady Faye. It's going to be really, really cool.
Confusion.
That's fine too. There are no wrong answers. Speaking of wrong answers, hey! No. Hello, Tom. How are you, friend?
Yeah. That was actually a good segue. Fair play. I'm good. I'm really good. I'm really excited. It was like you said earlier that it was the beginning of the week. I remember when we had our kind of catch up kind of thing. I think it was January or something like that.
Ages ago.
Sometime. It was ages ago. And I remember when we made thought it was going to be March, but that's miles
Ages
away.
ago.
You know, that's like years in the future. Forget that. And then the start of the week, I kind of went, no, it's actually this Saturday. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. That's come up quite quick. This is good. I'm great. It's great to just like chill here. As I've said, this is kind of like my home game where I can just kick back, relax, enjoy. A lot of the time, I even forget I'm streaming, so I apologize. But I'm excited to get back into it.
Good. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, I have been kind of plotting a little bit and writing over the course of this and maybe a little bit of last week as well, but work has been hectic. Like I've had loads on, so my brain by this point has just turned to mush. So take advantage now before I remember all the stuff that I literally had to watch some stuff back, and I was finding familiar as well, some of the scenes and some of the little kind of things that were pertinent to either Lady Faye being in the episode, or stuff that she would have been aware of or whatever. It was really, really illuminating. It was also really cool because I just had like kind of Game of Thrones soundtrack on in the background, and there was a bit where I think Susie, I think you were talking to Tom, maybe, and like, oh my god, it all clicked, and if it wasn't for the takedowns, I'd just be like, oh, just have some music, because it'd be so good. But yeah, so that's me.
Release the Webby cut that has the Game of Thrones music.
I'll try. Yeah. I'll do that if I get a chance before it gets thrown off the internet. But yeah, that's me. Brain fuzz for the week. Let's go. Plus we've been running Hex Crawl as well, which is always a super fun time. I always love taking the lead from you guys. Susie plays and seeing like what you decide to do. We've had everything from really like in-depthy Born Identity style kind of proper tradecraft to smash and grab Mission Impossible sequences. So like chase scenes with micro grenades from drones, police cars, and it's crazy. It's a good time. Check it out on a Wednesday. We play it here on Follow Black Cats. And it wasn't, last season that I could say that I actually have one of the spy game books sat on my shelf now. Down here. And they're almost here. The stock is almost in the UK, so I'm very, 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 very excited about that as well. All right. Let's kick into it then. Let's kick into season 5. This is going to be episode 1. Sands of Dawn. I'm going to take a little sip of my beer so my mouth isn't dry first, because I've got a little prologue for you all. You're right there. The foam of the ship washed over the side, and salt spray splashed across Bittersteel's rough beard, one he had been forced to grow with the weeks at sea. But with the sight of land on the horizon, the shores of home were inviting. The bright beaches ahead glistening in the midday sun, and the crew heaved the sails of their great Drummond to a Lyseni shanty. But Aegor sang a wholly different song under his breath. The day they hanged Black Robin, the autumn air was clear and still. The day they hanged Black Robin, the autumn ground was chill. The small folk gathered in the square, the gallows there was set. The small folk gathered in the square, the women never wept. His Reacher General had stepped up to the prow with him, hands on the side, and an eager young look about his face. Bittersteel could tell, even with the din of the sea and the ship, that the young lord wanted to talk. "My lord," he says nervously to Aegon to break the silence between the two men. But silence is all he receives from Bittersteel's typically sour expression. "Beautiful," he says, breaking the silence between them again, this time a little louder over the beating of the waves on the hull. "What do you mean, boy?" Bittersteel finally offers. "This moment will be a story told for hundreds of years to come. When men landed once more on the beaches of the Dornish Sea, ready to take back the Iron Throne for their rightful king. I'm sure they won't describe this dull moment," taunts Aegon. "Well, no, but what we do over the course of the next few weeks and months could shape the Seven Kingdoms for years to..." "Spare me the noble speech," interrupts Aegon, not in the mood for wasting breath like this. "It could all go to piss, and we all fade into insignificance. Do not speak to history with words, but with action. Take the Reach for his grace, just as you have vowed, and not only you and your family will be rewarded, but so will we all in the Maester's annals. Waste much more breath on these illusions, and you won't be a benefit to anyone. Don't let your sword hand falter and your body fall cold into the mud, and you'll have done your duty. Spare me the historic words that no one will hear or remember." With that silence, the young lord bowed and moved away, leaving Bittersteel to brood at the landscape of sand and rock ahead of him, and a holdfast, flying green, fluttering standards in the distance. The gods above all knew his crimes. The Lord read off his lists. The gods above all knew his crimes. The men's hands balled to fists. His legs they kicked and jerked and slowed. The crowd did not once jeer. The day they hanged Black Robin, the crowd not once did cheer. Bittersteel and the power of the entire Blackfyre army would soon be in Westeros once more. Enzo. The approach to Highgarden is as beautiful as it has been advertised to you and as you imagined. Within Highgarden, you can just make out the details as you look over towards the castle of groves, fountains, trees growing within the castle yard, and beautiful brick buildings, all in white. The sept matched only by the great sept of Baelor and the starry sept, a huge construction with beautiful, glistening crystal windows that cast rainbow-colour reflections off of from the day's sun. You can just make out the shape of 3 godswood trees, the weirwoods known as the 3 singers, over one of the curtain walls. 3 curtain walls stand before you, each, as they get closer to the keep, higher than the other. The keep itself, an ancient square construction like the first men used to build, but built on top of that, and then on top of that, and on top of that again. Architecture that spans generations. Thin, round towers with tall, spiky roofs, to a great round tower, to a square tower in disrepair towards the rear of the castle as you approach. Between the outer and middle walls, you catch a glimpse of the top of the hedges of the famous Briar Labyrinth, which serves to entertain people as much as it does to slow down invaders in times of war. And as you enter in, you have to take a lot of the carriages and the baggage, everything kind of falls behind as those of you on horseback are led through the Briar by guards, Highgarden guards in their yellow and green colours, through so that you don't have to try and navigate them yourself. And then finally inside, when you get to the yard, along with a lot of the other nobles, you see pathways and beautiful architecture of courtyards, columns, and beautiful little colonnades, and a singer on every corner. You can hear little flutes. You can hear kind of harps in the distance. You can hear poetry being recited, even from bawdy songs like the Bear and the Maiden Fair to some sweet songs and sad songs like On a Misty Morn. On your approach, Lady Marcia has ridden alone. She's been tucked away in isolation in a carriage, and she's been under Tyrell guard since you departed Fox Hollow. All the individual houses here have progressed in some kind of great kind of carriage train all along to Highgarden, either with the intent to stop here at court and actually watch the trial, or to go their separate ways and start advancing about other areas of the Reach, down towards Old Town or up towards the north, like Golden Grove and Old Oak, and even to the east, up towards maybe even bordering Storm's End and the Crownlands. And you've travelled with a small cadre of Hollow Hearts that have been afforded you by the house. And they've seen you here, basically. Mm-hmm. As you approach, you see a great group of mounted nobility, knights, ladies, lords, young lords and ladies as well. And they start to assemble in the courtyard, some getting off their horses, giving them to a stable hand to stable them away. Lady Faye Rowan is there as well, just across from you in the crowd. And as Lord Leo descends from his horse, his great white stallion, then so she, after him, descends from her brown courser. As they're stabled, Lord Leo walks towards and is greeted by his steward, Sir Gawain Oakhart, and Leo gives him the details of Marcia's arrest. Marcia Greenmont is to be tried for attempting to murder Lady Mara Oakhart at the tourney that we have just come back from. Sir Gawain, she's to go down into the cells below the keep and to remain there until the trial. She can receive visitors, she can receive counsel, and talk to witnesses as she likes, but please, no casual visitations. And prepare the council for a small council meeting. We need to discuss the matter at once, and also to catch me up with everything that's been going on here at Highgarden. And Sir Gawain nods and bows to his Lord Paramount, and the men make their way inside. As the lords and ladies around you dismount and head towards either chambers or to meet up with one another or to take some refreshment in a courtyard, you have an opportunity here to catch somebody or meet up with Lady Faye, or even make some inquiries with people in charge if needs be. But it's up to you, and it's over to you.
Okay. Do I have my small little cadre that I paid for with me? You know, the small group that I paid for the tournament. Are they still with me?
Yeah, you absolutely can do. If you can afford the month's wages. I don't. Okay, cool. And yeah, top man.
I made notes of how much. I don't know if it was for a month or a week, but I did make certain notes, whether it was like weekly, monthly, or daily. I can't remember what the things you gave me, but I made notes of it.
Yeah, I'll catch up as there's a more interesting scene going on, and we'll have a little look. But yeah, so they're a little bit further behind, I think. Right now, you've got lords and ladies, a lot of kind of Tyrell, just kind of footmen and guards hanging around. You've also got, say, you've probably got a hollow heart that is like not the master at arms or anything like that, but you certainly will have someone who is more closely guarding you.
Okay.
Is more bodyguarding you. So you have one of them with you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the like mercenary guards then are going to be a little bit further behind.
That's fine. I was just gonna tell them to go have fun. That's all. Just make sure they just go off, have fun. I'll see you later.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Totally do that.
Okay, so for the moment, Enzo's probably going to head over to get some refreshment. He's kind of like taking in the entire scene because this is probably the kind of most beautiful castle he has ever seen in his life. You know, he's seen ports and stuff like that, and he's seen a lot, but a castle of this magnitude and exquisite architecture is just like something else. So he's probably taking it all in. He'll get himself some refreshments, and while he's doing that, he wants to scour the groups of nobles and noble ladies and stuff like that, and listen and watch for anything that kind of, to get the general feel around and to see if he gets any juicy bits of information. Kind of, you know, just to start off.
This is your streetwise thing,
yeah? You could do streetwise or awareness or whatever one, but I can do streetwise if you want.
Would you rather have would you rather put in a little bit of work to hear rumors because you need to take some time to actually do it, or would you rather just get a quick read of how people are?
It's a quick read. It's while he's getting a quick drink and just having a kind of gaze across the thing and a listen. It's more of a quick read.
Yeah, sure. Give me awareness empathy then.
Awareness empathy. Right. I just need to double check my thing. Okay, got it. Okay. Because
we've not touched these character sheets in a little while.
It has been some time. So 18 plus 4. So that's 22.
Very nice.
Add my fighting bonus to it.
Yeah, no, I was going to just look for like a 12. With a couple of degrees of success, I'll give you a couple of questions you can ask me.
Okay. Okay. How many questions? Or is it until?
2 questions.
2 questions. Okay. First question. Tell you the truth. All right. First question is, how is the general mood and conversation towards current events and Leo Tyrell? Like, what's their feel of the overall current situation?
Directly related to the trial?
Yeah.
Yeah. They are... some people are a little bit surprised at his newfound... I was going to say audacity. No. At his newfound attitude.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
It's not a read. We all know Lord Leo loves a tourney and loves some feasting and fun rather than actual work.
Yeah.
So he's doing some actual work, it seems.
Are they happy about it? Or is it like a mixed bag, or hard to tell?
Mostly indifferent.
Okay. Interesting.
It kind of seems like while this is, it's serious, it is a murder. This is more like a family matter for a lot of people. Attempted. This is, this is a family matter for a lot of people, really. So they're a bit surprised that he's taking such a. They are surprised he's taking such a direct involvement with it.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so they kind of get in the general idea that why is he doing this? This should be just settled, done, and dusted, out of the way. it's not a state issue. It's just a freaking local get it done and sort it kind of thing. Okay. Well, technically, I did ask 2 questions in that, so.
Yeah, and to be fair, the second one gave you a bit more good
Exactly,
juicy
yeah.
information as well.
Okay.
So
Okay, so that's pretty good. After I've done that and everyone think, I am going to see what Lady Faye is doing.
okay. So Lady Faye, I have kind of set you up to have just come down off your horse. There are lords and ladies from this court from around the Reach who have been at this tournament that the Greenmonts have been hosting, and they've just arrived either as guests of Highgarden, and Highgarden it's a very large castle, contains very many guest rooms. And so people are mingling, or they're wandering off, getting some refreshment, or heading into the keep itself. What would your first instinct be to kind of go and do next, having been on the road for pretty much just over a month?
I think first instinct would be to nod and smile and give all the traditional courtesies to the important people who I should be courteous to, while getting out of here as quickly as possible. So that kind of business-like but casual walk of somebody who's clearly not got anywhere to be, but just don't want to be here.
Lovely. So Enzo, you catch Lady Faye just as she's starting to walk off at just a slightly quicker pace than maybe she had just a few seconds ago, as she was being polite to the lords and ladies around her. But she is walking in your direction, and she seems to be heading off to somewhere. Not in a hurry, but, she definitely wants to be there.
In that case, I am totally going to grab 2 goblets of wine straight away. Just straight away, the 2 goblets of wine. And and he's probably going to kind of almost like a dance through the crowd. Not literally dance, but he's going to weave and use his agility to kind of go through the crowd to get to her, so he's not spilling the any of the wine, and his feathers flapping very nicely on his hat and stuff. And he's going to kind of head on over and go to say, and in a loud thing, it's my Lady Rowan, would you like a goblet of wine?
And as you're saying that, you think you're taking her by surprise because she's been looking down to sort of lift her skirts to step up a step. But as she does that, she holds her hand out as if she's expecting the wine in the first place. Like she knew you were there. She just didn't want to make it obvious, and kind of meets your gaze and takes it. What a surprise seeing you here.
He'll smirk and place the goblet into your hand, and he'll kind of stand next to you. So as you move in side by side, so not to stop you from moving to wherever you're going. And he goes, well, did you have a good journey?
As pleasant as journeys can be, I suppose.
Yes, it is. Horseback is not as luxurious as a ship on the ocean.
I'm not entirely sure I'm looking for luxury, just for the traveling to be over.
Oh, but there is no better way to travel than in luxury.
Am I the target of an advertising campaign?
No. Well, not yet, at least. Wait until I get the sapphire up and running again, and we shall see.
Well, do let me know when you start.
Of course. Well, I have heard many things about the beauty of Highgarden, but I was not quite prepared for such beauty.
No? It's terribly noisy.
It is, but at the same time, very lively.
That's one word for it. I shall never forgive them for ruining singing for me.
Well, I'm sure at some point that would you mind giving me a tour of the place, where you can show me all of the quieter parts?
I'm sure you could find somebody far more acquainted with the area to show you exactly what you want to see.
I'm sure I could, but they wouldn't be nearly as charming or beautiful as you.
No, of course they wouldn't be, but they would be a somewhat easier mark.
It'll really laugh, and he'll kind of take a big gulp of the wine to finish it off, and smile. Well then, I will leave you to whatever duties that you have here, and well, make myself at home.
I'm sure you will.
And he'll give a very big flourish of a bow, so that everyone can see, and he'll kind of like spin on his heels and kind of head back to where the Hollow Heart was that was with me, to basically get shown to where he's going to stay. I want to know what my room's like.
Okay. So you are not placed in the guest quarters of where the other lords and ladies are. You are placed in I don't think they'd be like servants' quarters for guests, really, but you're pretty much kind of there. As not really a nobleman yourself of any good breeding, you are placed on one of the lower floors towards the rear of the castle, with a little decent look over the. There's that tiny rear exit in a castle, and I can't remember what it's called now.
Oh yeah.
You know, just the little iron door at the end. The word will come to me soon, I'm sure. But yeah, just a little, just over the back. The view is not as impressive. You don't have a view of the big, you know, the Briar and all of the cool towers and stuff.
I wonder if there are better views in inns around the place. I will have to find out. Although it is handy to have a room so close to. Yeah, I'm assuming there's a guard on that kind of door. This guard tends to be in all like.
There's one occasionally walking up and down the corridor in a very kind of bored manner.
Even better.
But apart from that,
Okay.
not really. No.
Good to know. Good to know.
Postern Gate, that's what the word was.
Postern Gate. There you go. Okay, good. Yeah, he's just gonna basically just get himself acquainted, settled in, and after that he might go for a walk and have a look around Highgarden, see what he can find. You know,
lovely.
like travel the inn, see if there's one with a better, more luxurious room for him to take in. Depending on the price, of course.
Well, this is the absolutely bizarre thing I find about Highgarden, is that there's all this fuss made about the castle, and it is a large, extravagant castle and such, and it's got amenities, but it's all very much set up to be that kind of highborn location and court. Doesn't really, from what I can read into it, have much of like a town attached to it.
It was like different level. So there's not really. So it's essentially just like a castle with the nobleman and the court servants, and then that's pretty much it. Oh, okay, that's somewhat different and slightly disappointing.
A holiday resort.
Yes.
This is totally basically a fucking highborn Centre Parks.
This is a Butlins.
This is a you've got the Butlins bit.
Brilliant. Fucking Butlins.
Sorry, Jason. British holiday locations. Yeah.
Wait, so is there? So there's no kind of like hang-on villages on the outside of the big walls, is there? Like, you know, normally there'd be a castle.
Probably
kind of like.
There is probably a fishing village on the Mander. There is probably a tavern, maybe a league to your south, down the Rose Road, and then a league to the north up the Rose Road. But seeing as Highgarden is the place to stay, you know, there aren't many budget motels along the way.
Okay.
You know.
Could I gauge? That's just quite far. That's fucking really far. How how quick can someone get from Highgarden to Old Town using the road? It's far, isn't it? Old Town's pretty damn far, isn't
You're going
it?
to get me get out my measuring stick now, aren't you?
I mean, it is on a road.
Okay. I scaled the map, right? People can't see this at home. I scaled the map.
Yeah.
Old Town is about 95 leagues away by the crow flies. Now that I know how to use Roll20 a bit better, I will actually track the road.
Oh, shit.
It's about
So cool.
100 leagues, which is basically 100 hours of travel.
100 hours of travel. That's a good few days at the very least. That's a lot of days.
5 days.
Maybe once work is done here. I like Old Town. There's lots of things to do there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be, we're very timey-wimey about it, right? And I always have
Yeah.
been. But, you know, it's going to take you a good amount of time, minimum,
Yeah.
like a good couple of weeks to actually get there. You've got to kind of, because you've got to travel, then stop and stay somewhere or camp, and then you've got to kind of pack that up and then go again and all of that stuff.
I know. So he is going to go because it looks like Highgarden is actually on a river. Is that right?
It is. It's on the Manda, and so that goes into it. So the Manda kind of separates out to, and I don't think they actually named the river, but Lady Faye's house at Golden Grove is actually on that river directly to the north of Highgarden. The Manda extends out to the east, and then it actually breaks up as you go upriver into the Cockles Went and the Blueburn, and then the Manda goes all the way up towards King's Landing, but doesn't quite make it. It's probably a few days away from King's Landing.
I am going to head down to the docks,
Mhm.
and I am going to see if I can find a Lady Rowan or the Rowan family, like a ship that came from there, transporting goods down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would like you to roll for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I don't know now. Oh, I won't mess with that sheet. Hang on, I'll get one of my own sheets. I don't want to just use like Streetwise again.
And just say there's some there. I mean, you could do like a
There are
awareness
some there, Tom.
notice.
There are some there, yes.
Okay, brilliant.
And they are unloading giant barrels that they're having to roll out onto the dock.
All right, that's what I'm looking for. All right, so he is going to approach maybe one of the captains there.
Yeah, there's effectively like a merchant captain. It's
merchant,
more like a barge. This is to Enzo nowhere near a ship.
Yeah, this is like floating logs down a river. It's nothing.
Yeah.
To Enzo, this isn't even sailing. This is like
basically a raft.
Yeah, it's sort of like a raft. It's like what they use at shipwrecks.
It's what they do to just like pontoon down the down Braavosi canals.
Yeah, they should have
Not
like
quite
a musician on there. So he's going to approach. He goes, good day to you, sir. I was wondering if I could have a word with you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I noticed that you are shipping, unloading a lot of certain barrels from the Rowan family.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering if I could perhaps chance to buy maybe a barrel, or if not, a bottle or two of your most famous cider.
I'm afraid not, sir. These are all destined for Lord Leo's court now that he's arrived back here in Highgarden.
Ah, yes. I understand. I know Lord Leo. Me and him are good friends. We are good friends. Are you sure that maybe, I mean, it is a long journey and the odd bottle or two certainly gets lost along the way. If I were to, I don't know, put forward to buy some for myself at obviously a higher price, of course, would that perhaps be more suitable for you?
Right. Oh, How are you trying to do this? You trying to offer him anything, or are you trying?
I'm willing
just,
to
like...
buy. I'm genuinely willing to
Right.
buy them. I want to charm him to like me, but I am genuinely willing to buy them from him.
Okay, objectives here. You can either get him to like you, or you can get him to sell you some cider.
Objective 1, get him to like me. Objective 2, get the cider. Can I do that? So get him to like me first, and then go.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what this is setting up to, but sure.
Sweet. So I want to charm him.
Step 3, profit.
Step 3, hopefully profit. Well, I get to re-roll that one. That's still not great for me. 20.
Just a casual 20.
Shit, actually, 20.
Yeah, okay. He smiles and he just says one word to you, which is shrinkage.
Shrinkage. Yeah.
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 He gives you a
Lord.
wink, and then he like beckons you on board.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he'll get on board. He'll go on board.
All right.
I've got my rapier, don't you worry.
Either Ash is watching and she just heard me say shrinkage and wink at the camera and she's laughed hysterically, or something much funnier is going on downstairs. I don't know which, because it was very well timed. There was even the delay. If you're there, waifu, please say something in chat. It'd be fun. But yeah, right. Okay, so he's just shrinkage, and then he invites you onto his boat. And he basically takes you below deck, and then he goes to one of the last barrels that are due to be taken out of here, and he gets a jug underneath the kind of the tap stopper thing.
Yeah.
And he lops it off, and then cider starts spilling out into this wineskin that he's got.
Ooh, wineskin. Just one.
If you say that to him, he's kind of looking down. He kind of looks up at you like, "Have you got any more?"
Do you not have any bottles lying around the place that we can fill them up?
No, mate. We've got barrels.
Can I not take the barrel?
No.
All right.
See, a lot of lady won't, recognize the difference between a ton and a whatever metric unit of currency that's slightly less.
I understand.
But if a whole barrel goes missing, now I'm going to have questions asked.
No, I understand, and I would not want to put that on you. No, that is too much. I will take what you can give me for this. Thank you so much.
Let's say you've got maybe a half-empty wineskin that you neck the rest of and give to him, so there are at least 2.
Well, I don't want to drink it.
No. What I mean is that you've got a wineskin on, you say, that is
I
kind
see
of
what you
half
mean.
full of whatever, small beer or wine or whatever, and you neck that so that you give him another wineskin to fill up with, so you'll end up with 2 wineskins of
Brilliant.
2 skins of this cider.
Yes, gotcha. All right, I'll make a note
It's a
of that.
beautiful golden colour. Smells
I know.
gorgeous.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Getting floral, notes. Fresh cut grass. Okay.
Yeah, it's just lovely. I'm just trying to remember now. May I do a? I'm trying to remember now because I know that from it. Could I do? Using my own memory, could I do something to know more about Lady Rowan's house? I know they're famous, obviously, for the apples and the cider and stuff, but is there anything else that, from my own knowledge, because I can't remember personally, that I might know that they enjoy or like? Or
Please roll for me a cunning memory check.
Cunning memory.
Difficulty is going to be 18.
Okay, I need.
You
3
have
successes.
2 test dice in your overlay, friend. Yes.
Oh shit!
You are, I believe, the only person to still, in this assembly, to still retain some test dice from last season.
You know what? I'm gonna wing it. Let's wing it. Come on, let's do this.
3 6s.
Oh, I mean, 12. I'm 6 short. So no, I can't remember.
No,
No.
it's the headlines are the apples really,
Yeah.
and the cider distillery brewery type thing they've got going on, as well as the orchards. But
I know what.
the kind of detailed history,
Mhm. You wouldn't. Just one more thing before I go, if you don't mind. You wouldn't happen to have one of the apples, would you? Maybe a bushel of apples that you took with you? No, not at all. Okay. Well, this will be perfect. Thank you so much. Have a good day. And I'm going to toss him. How much money have I got? I'm going to toss him about 10 silver stags.
good bribe.
Yeah, I'll give him some 10 silver stags for it.
It's probably
then-
at least a good couple months' wages. He's happy.
Absolutely. Got to keep people happy. And
Yeah.
then I am probably just going to head back to my bunk, store the wine.
And it is a bunk.
Yeah, I know. I'm very disappointed.
Mm.
Store the wine skins, and I'm just going to go for a walk and have a butcher's around Highgarden.
All right.
That's what I'm going to do now.
Simon, as you walk the halls and courtyards of Highgarden, you too are illuminated by the songs and the singers on every corner, the poems, and the entertained and intrigued noble guests that admire and aspire to be like the heroes in the adventures that are being recited to them. It's somewhat broken by the gentleman that is walking towards you, and as he does so is somewhat coming towards you, matching your side of the path, your direction, and looks fairly scruffy in comparison to a lot of the lords and ladies that are assembled around and listening to these mummers. He has a mop of brown hair round to the neck, no inspiration necessary, and rough stubble around a thin, angular jaw. It me. His brow is heavy, not me, hooding his brown eyes that don't seem to pay any particular attention to anything, but seem to have paid attention to you somehow. It's perplexing. His thin physique is adorned with a simple faded doublet and hose. His doublet is divided down the centre in two, blue and yellow. Blue on your left side and yellow on your right, with a fraying white stars embroidered on the blue side and a golden sun stained into the yellow fabric on his left. As the two of you meet, you do that awkward kind of, we don't quite know where we're going to step aside for each other. And then he says, well, sir, if it isn't the haunt of Highgarden, I do so hope that... I do wonder whether you'll be poking around like you once did, or whether you'll have a quieter time of hosting us. Or whether we will have a quieter time of hosting you this year.
Memory check. I have no idea who this person is, right?
You may know who he is, but maybe not quite met him yet. So absolutely roll a knowledge memory check.
Damn.
Rather than cunning.
Well, okay, since it is knowledge, I will add my cunning to the test because I'm a maester.
Yeah, there we go.
So, okay, knowledge, memory, you say?
Knowledge with memory specialty dice from cunning. Yeah.
Don't have any of those, but
you should invest. They're very good.
+4 is 25.
I mean, it's a damn good score. This is Ransel Sloane. This is the new Lord of Whispers to Lord Leo Tyrell. I say new, it's been a few months now, but actually it's been a couple of years probably.
Yeah.
Just never met the man in person.
Heard the name, didn't know the face, and now I do. Just going to sort of.
Yeah, and he kind of cracks a smile from behind his stubble.
I see you've taken to your work kindly.
How else would you take to this kind of work?
Fastidiously.
Oh. No, I apply my fastidiousness to my business.
Is not the Master of Whispers business. Well,
sorry, my business is.
Of course.
And do you apply it to yours?
I cannot help but apply it.
Good. I'm glad the Citadel is still training them well.
Training will get you only so far, dear friend.
Tell me, Maester, which link is it that you are forging now? Work never tires, does it, of this? I've heard.
Not often, no. But given your familiarity, I'll simply name the materials themselves. Either Valyrian steel, yellow gold, or its more foolish cousin.
Valyrian steel. How intriguing.
I assure you, not as intriguing as you might think. The higher mysteries are, by their very definition, shrouded.
As they always are, it seems. We need a fat man on a pedestal to tell us what they mean, quite often, I've found. But the gods speak to us in many different ways. In fortune, in sorrow, in life.
It's not the gods speaking that I fear most of all. It's when they're silent.
But isn't it both at the same time? Not that we need to really get into ecclesiastical matters. Honestly, nothing bores me more. But Valyrian steel. Ah. But you'll have to forgive me. Fool's gold I am not aware of.
No, I'm sure you're not. Matters of the underworld. Subversive groups. Threats. Within and without.
Now, 5 years past makes a lot more sense from what I read.
And what did you read?
Oh, this is strictly for the court. But I hope you enjoy your stay once more.
Yes, I'm sure I will. My lord.
Yeah, he laughs at that, but he walks back towards the keep, back towards the kind of in the direction of the Great Hall, where you might assume he is going to be, as Lord Leo has just arrived, and a huge host of lords and ladies, and also news of the Tarly force that had amassed at Fox Hollow. News is that, as you've just heard from, again, walking the courtyards and the gardens and the yard, that they are still, they're still like amassed, and they are maybe just half a league away. Just still visible if you're up on the curtain wall.
Great.
But with them, possibly Mara, obviously. Samwell, undoubtedly. But now you have an opportunity to approach lords and ladies that have arrived here. Particularly, you were interested in either speaking to Lady Faye, or maybe even Enzo, who has probably arrived as well.
I was indeed. It's all a matter of who I visit first. And I think I want to visit Enzo.
sure thing.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure I would have seen Marcia and the rest of them arriving, and why they were arriving, like I would have known.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to try and track that guy down.
Tom, where does Simon find Enzo?
I imagine that he is walking along the riverfront of the castle. You know, I'm sure there's the docks, but then obviously you've got the river that's flowing next to it. So he might be just taking a nice little walk there, you know, taking in the river air. It's not quite ocean air, but it's as close as he's got to it for quite some time. It's water. There are floating things in the river. So yeah, you'll probably find him there, and he might be having like a few stones and throwing them in.
Okay, yeah.
Occasionally.
Do you miss the sea so dreadfully, friend?
He'll turn and smile. I miss the sea every day.
I never asked, in all our time of association, why not return?
I had things to experience and things to explore inland.
Indiscretions, then?
One might say.
I'm sure they would.
And how are you doing, Simon? Did you have a pleasant journey?
No.
Oh,
It's quite restless, actually. Filled with meditations upon recent events.
Troubles the mind. And what is your take on the recent events?
That it distracts me.
From?
The work.
The work of a maester?
Something like that. The work of a servant of the realm.
Ah, yes, of course. I forget you maesters servants to everyone.
To the realm, first and foremost. Now, I would say that given these troublesome recent events, we might perhaps be square.
Sorry, we might what?
Be square.
Oh, be square. Well, Simon, if I may call you Simon. He'll smile. I gave my word that if you were to give me information at the tournament, that I would class as square. And you lived up to your bargain. And I am a man of my word. So, in the eyes of myself, we are square.
He'll sort of stop and kind of twirl his chain and then begin to weave his fingers in sort of strange configurations. Yes, but that, I must admit, was before your mistress attempted murdering my sister.
Well, allegedly.
You doubt the scars upon Mara's face?
Oh, no, not at all. The poor Mara, for such a beautiful young woman to be injured so is just tears at my heart.
He'll literally lay a hand on your shoulder. It is strangely clammy and very cold, but he will look you in the eye and say, such alleged sins, I think would be worthy of some sort of recompense. And seeing as Lady Marcia is unfortunately indisposed at the moment, he'll take his hand off your shoulder and press the fingers onto your chest I was wondering if you could find it in your heart to help me.
You are under the assumption that I have a heart, Simon.
I feel it beating right now.
Ah,
If you
Of
would like me to
course.
show it to you, I'd be more than happy.
oh, I am sure you would. What is it that you wish of me?
As an old association of mine that I quite bungled during my last visit here, and seeing as your interests might align, I was wondering if perhaps you would like to pay a visit to the Lady Rowan.
What business do you have with her?
As I tell her, you too shall know.
And this is in regards to the realm.
Yes, I'm afraid my allegiances, my past.
Mm-hmm.
He'll look out to the river. Must be left as I go further inland.
Well, it would be my honor to introduce you to the good lady Rowan. If it is in matters of the realm, it is utmost important that she knows.
It's unfortunate that I've already met her. I fear that perhaps this second impression will far outshine the first.
Did she not leave a good impression to you?
Quite the opposite.
Well, do not worry. I will be here next time to assist you in such first impressions.
Well, more stones to throw in the river, or have you time now?
Well, the good lady, she is a very busy woman. I think it is custom to at least let her settle in a little bit before disrupting her with such news.
Cast your stones then.
Of course.
I've work to do.
And he'll pick up and throw a stone. Simon. Not Simon.
Okay.
Oh, just a quick thing before you go. If you dare try to threaten me once again, do not worry. I assure you, I have killed more people than you have had hot meals. And I will not hesitate to kill you.
Greenmont's already dead. Why not throw another onto the pyre? He'll just walk away.
Okay. Of courtesy, I just want to ask if you want to approach Lady Faye now anyway, or if you want to wait.
That would be a mistake, so no, I will wait for Enzo to show up.
Who is this new Simon, and what have you done with the old one?
He's had a little bit of time.
Okay, cool. No, I'm about it. All right. Then let us go to Myria and the heat of the late afternoon Dornish sun. The welcoming sight of both the sea that provides a cool breeze and the bright sunlight of the day in Dorne. You also see the gardens ahead of you. These water gardens, a brand new feature almost by a matter of only a few years in Westeros. Just 3 leagues from the west, or to the west of Sunspear, on the coastal road. You see a kind of square kind of compound, this oases in the rock and the desert of pale pink marble. that shines and glistens in the sun. And as you approach closer, you see people enjoying the pools, the baths, the terraces, and the different fountains, all shaded by a beautifully kind of curated architecture of this little blood orange tree orchard. And as you and anyone, as everyone is welcome, start to descend upon the little pools and fountains, the Dornish lords, ladies, bastards, camp followers, guards all start to derobe, and all, one by one, naked as the day they were born, start to descend into these cool pools of water. And you go through a triple archway into the main kind of pool courtyard area, and the heat somehow immediately drops, and you are in a pleasant, kind of slightly breezy, kind of outdoor pool area, I guess. Still this beautiful pink marble everywhere, and kind of mosaic tiled floors for the different pools, fountains in all sorts of different shapes. You do spy one that is, I believe, shaped hewn in a beautiful kind of I'd say volcanic. What's that? There's the kind of like dragonstone, like dark dragonstone, obsidian almost kind of visage of Princess Daenerys, the daughter of Aegon IV and Princess to Maren Martell. As this has been erected for her as a monument to her beauty and of their marriage, and for the Dornish, their introduction to become a member of the Seven Kingdoms, the seventh themselves. So as everyone from young children to older lords and ladies are all in and around these pools, free from their clothes, either just relaxing or playing and running around, as the kids will want to do. What do you want to do?
I think because Myria, obviously having grown up in the Reach, is not used to temperatures like this. It gets quite hot where they live, but it's not like this. So she sees the sea, she sees these water gardens, she sees like, oh my God. You know, like British people in summer, right? She sees like a paddling pool and she's fucking lost her mind. So she, as soon as she sees this, she allows that moment to relax, right? She like, people are disrobing. She's like, fuck it, off with the clothes in the water. And she's just like, oh. It's just basking in that chill, that coolness for a little bit.
You have kind of positioned yourself within the procession up to Sunspear as one of the sands, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you know, as is kind of tradition, there is a almost like a kind of you know, a sibling group, fraternity, for want of a better word, of these sands that could almost be assembled as a kind of fighting force. Nikos, a good friend and acquaintance, is one of them. And he takes the plunge in next to you. And equally like you, is just completely relieved from the heat of the day. Lets out this long sigh. I never thought we were going to arrive.
I know. It's so hot here. But I can't say that I'm not pleased.
He kind of looks around him like he's looking for somebody to like get him a drink. But there's like there's no one around like that. Everyone's just together. There's, as you look around you, as the kids are running around, you know, teenagers are kind of I suppose in a corner, kind of being sulky, but also kind of,
And
you know,
awkward.
running around, and some of the slightly older teens kind of finding their way in the world and being a bit flirty with each other as well and stuff like that. There's no way for you to be able to tell who is lowborn, who is highborn, anything like that. And people seem to have just mixed in whatever groupings that they like, and it's for you. I think for the culture of Westeros and the feudal society, it's just like a complete like curveball.
Yeah.
It's just a
And
completely
I think
different energy to it, somewhat frenetic but kind of relaxed and you know, bizarre.
I mean, having been brought up a proper Reacher lady too, being stark naked around these people, being stark naked around boys who aren't your husband is also a thing for Myria that is like in the back of her head, she's like, ah! But she's like, she's trying to play it cool. And I think after a little while being with this caravan, she started to like, chill a bit with the Reacher in the back of her head that's screaming
Yeah.
that this is all wrong and bad. But
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
still a
yeah.
part of her, like, maybe she's sat with like her legs are like crossed and she might have like an arm just over her boobs or something, just
It's
to
like a bit of
give her that little,
modesty thing.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a mix. Some people are just very relaxed. Some people, like yourself, seem as they, as the kind of, maybe there's an older lord and lady, or there's a couple of guards who weren't sure about it. But after a time, they all kind of relax a little bit. And again, it depends. Some people just kind of like sitting, just staying, just calm in the water, not running around or showing off. But the kids in particular, and then the teens to a certain extent, seem absolutely liberated.
I think Myria like leans back a little bit. She closes her eyes, but then she kind of pops one and looks Nikos up and down because, I mean, while he's there, you might as well have a little sneaky look. And she makes like a really exaggerated like stretch sound. She says, Nikos, I'm very thirsty. It was a long, long trip.
He kind of clicks a couple of times, like one of those wankers at a bar, and kind of look like, is there anyone? Oh, okay, there's no one. And he looks over at you and is just like,
and she gives him the sort of like, guess you're gonna have to get up and look for us kind of look. She's been playful with him.
Yeah, for sure. And he kind of stands up, and it's just about kind of waist height the water, and he just kind of looks down at you. The kind of the beads of water dripping down his athletic torso, and then he gives you a look as well, and just kind of tuts again, and just like turns, gets up out the water. It's kind of bum wiggling as he walks away.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah. Taking some mental pictures.
Thank you, Sam.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. Try not to be try not to be too lewd, but being fun with it.
Yeah. And I think it speaks to Myria, right, relaxing a little bit, that she allows herself these moments where she's like, do you know what? He is hot and he's got a really nice bum and I'm going to look at
it. Sure thing. I mean, a few moments later, he is kind of laughing and joking with a younger boy with kind of fairly short but thick curly brown hair. Tan skin, and he he's actually got like a full wine skin. And Nikos has got a couple of glasses of a Dornish red, and he's kind of sitting back down in the pool, careful to try and kind of get in with these two glasses and kind of hand you one at the same time, and then trying to slink back in. And the boy can't be any more than a man grown. Kind of sits in with you. He's quite kind of thin, a little on the gaunt side, but he looks agile and kind of supple. And he sits in with you guys.
Who's your friend, Nikos?
This, and he looks over like just a little confused for a second, and the boy says, "We are all people here. It does not matter. Between friends, I have not asked for yours."
Well then, a toast to friends.
To friends, I guess. Has anybody seen the Queen?
Myria looks around. I haven't seen her.
I guess she believes this is all some kind of extravagance.
Maybe she believes she's better than all of us. Maybe she has her own private baths.
Well, that would not surprise me, but it would bring the ire of Princess Daenerys down upon her, as much as it can do to a Targaryen wife.
I would like to be on the receiving end of that ire.
No.
But enough of fire and blood and ire. What brings you here? Are you somebody who lives here nearby, or did you join the caravan?
I live in Sunspear.
Oh.
So, welcome.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy your stay.
I hope so too. It will be my first time coming to Sunspear.
And the flirting continues. A 14 against your intrigue defense.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's hang on. Where's my character sheet? Intrigue defense. Where am I at? That is 1 degree of success.
Okay. So, there's a little spark. There is a connection there between you and the young lad. Like I say, just a man grown by the look. And the wine and the conversation continue for kind of in towards the evening. This is essentially, I think, your kind of last stop before heading on to Sunspear proper the next day. Already on the horizon, literally just because it's 3 leagues away, but because it's nestled and the towers and stuff are quite high, you can just make out in the light of the evening as the sun sets in the west and the kind of fires start to be lit and the little sconces. These 2 towers that are basically the first thing everyone sees when they get to Sunspear. There's kind of a thicker, kind of shorter round tower with this kind of domed top. And then there is a much slimmer, much taller tower, probably one that like you've not ever quite seen its height before. Much slimmer, much more of they're both a kind of Roynish fashion, very kind of Dornish fashion. The architecture has changed markedly, like over the course of the last couple of weeks, as you've got further and further east into Dorne. And so you've got this very long, thin tower with this kind of pointed roof, and that just lit by the light of the setting sun that you can just about make out. By the time we get back to you, the 3 of you and maybe a couple more of the Sands are kind of playing a drunken, not adult as in lewd, but a kind of like a stupid adult piss take of come into my castle. But like everyone's in their cups by this point, and it's just kind of a piss take. And I'd like to, introduce that there is a little kind of, someone loses a bit of footing and stuff, and one of you has to grab the other. Not Nikos. This is you and the kid. How would you respond in that moment? As you kind of drunkenly, and before you even notice it, the 2 of you aren't in each other's arms, but you're kind of there's contact there, and you're kind of helping each other up.
I think she's in her cups at this point, so she's as Enzo would know, Myria is a bit of a giggly drunk. as she gets to that point. You know, she's pleasantly tipsy, so I think she's laughing and having a good time, and she's very aware that she's more athletic. She's a warrior in build, so she's worried that any contact with this kid has hurt him a little bit. So she's a bit like, she's giggling, she's picking him up, she's like, "You all right?"
Yeah, he's laughing as well. He's like, yeah, yes, yes. And that kind of, that slow Hollywood kind of, they're quite close, and he kind of looks into Myria's eyes. If you wanted a moment here, you could have one.
I think it hangs, right? It is that Hollywood moment where they're looking into each other's eyes. They're pretty close, but Myria sort of like disengages as she sort of like steps back a little bit. But still trying to keep it friendly. She's not immediately like, "Whoa, get away!" But she's just like, she had that moment of clarity in the drunken haze, and like, wait, I don't know this person, and he's a little young.
Yeah, for sure. And after that, some of the game continues, but then people start to kind of move off, pair off, or something like that. As the evening has gone on, the baths themselves, while they're still a very clean place, and you come to infer that the culture is like, nothing saucy happens here. This isn't a knocking shop. This is a kind of public baths. So people start to move off, pair off maybe, and they start to leave. And you guys can prepare or kind of sleep this off for the next day of travel. I mean, you've only essentially got maybe a couple more hours to travel before you actually get to Sunspear, before you actually start to get to the keep and actually start to arrive. Is there anything you wanted to do before you made your way to Sunspear?
I think with this night in particular, she's having such a good time that she's one of those people that wants the party to continue after it stopped. So she's like, "Oh, come back to the camp and like bring your friends if you want, and we'll just keep drinking. I'll be fine." But she's inviting like Nikos, the boy, if he wants to come too. Other people. She's just like, "We'll carry on the party." And part of her is like just this. She's just letting loose, right? But she's also kind of trying to get the temperature of who is who. Yeah.
Okay.
Because people can mix and all sorts, and they have been mixing, and she's been mingling and enjoying time. So
I think this is a good opportunity to use like a streetwise check, but
ooh,
yeah, it's
famously good at those.
not something you often use.
Uh-uh.
But if you wanted to go about it in a kind of persuasion or deception-y kind of way, this is more of a through the conversation rather than a listening to rumors type thing, isn't it? So it's about or maybe even empathy, because it's awareness, empathy, or awareness streetwise or something like that, because it's very kind of picking up on little signals, picking up on tiny status maneuvers and stuff like that.
She's particularly interested in the kid, right? In the guy, the young man, we'll say, because he was a little cagey about who he was, and he's like, "Oh, I live in Sunspear," like. So yeah, let's do awareness, empathy as Myria. She's definitely that kind of person, right? That watches and listens, and she always has been.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense to me. Okay, if I could roll that would be great. Thanks. What did I get? 12.
12's good. So you pick up that the guy is definitely highborn because of how he speaks, because of how others kind of look up to him in a sense, I guess. But at this point, coming back to the camp, you're surrounded by Sans and a few other handful of highborn people. All mostly like kind of around your age, kind of, very late teens or early 20s mostly. I will let you ask me one question about him, and I will answer truthfully.
Okay, so she says that he's highborn. Okay, does she get the sense that, I mean, there's highborn and then there's royal. Does she think is he royal as far as she can tell?
Yeah, you think so?
Okay. I think at some point in the night, she sort of turns to Nikos, like drunkenly slaps him on the chest and whispers, "You brought the royal to come drink with us?"
He kind of looks over you, quite in his cups now, and he's just like, "What?"
The boy, he's a prince.
Is he?
Wow. She just kind of like snapped his face. You're very drunk, Nikos.
Yeah, he's proper hammered. But it makes sense with the kind of clothes are kind of half on at the moment for a lot of people, and his are half off, and he's kind of still got. It's, I guess, the kind of, you know, kind of pseudo fantasy kind of. I guess it's an open doublet, right? Very thin and quite silky, being the Dornish fashion. And then he's got more like trousers rather than doublet and hose, but like yeah, so it's still kind of, you know, he's still got his kind of thin chest out, and like he's still kind of joking around and stuff. But the clothes themselves, yeah, they look well made, well threaded, good quality.
And she sort of tuts at Nico, says he's like blasted and doesn't have a clue, and she's like, but I think after a while she will take this guy aside, and she'll say, "I think I know who you are."
And he's remarkably got a handle on things, like remarkably sober in comparison to a few other people. And he says, "Do you?"
"I think I do. You're a prince, no?"
"And you're a sand, so what of it?"
"Nothing. I just remarking. I haven't really met a prince like this before."
"Oh,
"You seem so casual and laid back. I didn't expect that."
really? Maybe the responsibility hasn't gotten to me yet."
Maybe. God's help you the day it does.
I shall ask for you when it does.
Oh?
Yeah, he gives you like a saucy look.
And she gives him one back like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe when that day comes, I won't be available. Then what will you do?
My heart will bleed.
Oh, I'm sure you'll get over it.
And he kind of smiles and turns, and he ends up going off with a couple of the other sand girls, and then just heads off.
Before he leaves, she just goes, she doesn't shout "Oi, Prince," but she makes like an "Oi" sound to catch his attention. And she like drunk points at herself and says, "Kala."
He bows deeply, and he says, "Meron." And he walks out.
And then Myria is just gonna flop back down where Nikos is and probably pass out.
I mean, that's good, because Nikos is passed out.
Yeah, she totally uses him as a pillow. I think at that point she's just like, she's drunk, he looks comfortable, gone.
Done. Awesome. Cool. Okay. Faye. Let's have a scene.
All right then.
All right. It's a good opportunity too to get any bits of info, ask any questions you need, and these can be framed as well in the sense of maybe the conversation, you know, inviting questions to the NPCs and stuff as well. But after a little while at Highgarden, the same day that you all arrived, after, I'd say this is basically dinner, after there has been a small council meeting, you've been called to dine with Lord Hightower. who is the Lord Treasurer to Lord Tyrell. So he looks after all of the money in the Reach. And with him there, someone that you know, someone that you will have met before for sure, is Rancel Sloane, the guy we met earlier. He is Lord of Whispers for Lord Tyrell. And having just walked in, you notice that Sir Gawain is also here. Sir Gawain is the Lord Steward for Hightower. He's basically Lord Leo's secretary, but looks after the castle and kind of is his kind of right-hand man. He looks like quite hacked off, but quite hard to read. As Lord Hightower is trying to kind of bestow upon him as much of the airs and graces as he can. But you get the sense that all of these people, like yourselves, know each other quite well because they all work together, and there is some of that feeling of a kind of managerial people together, a feeling I'm now far too familiar with. And yeah, they're all kind of decision makers here in the Reach, but they're having a kind of work dinner that Lord Hightower has invited you to.
I think I would have made a point of going back to my room for long enough to make myself presentable, and the effect I want to create is very specifically designed to be respectable and not overtly showy.
Yeah.
But just, I am here, and it's not the traditional kind of feminine look. There's a very slight masculine edge to it.
We established, I think it was last season or maybe a couple of seasons ago. I remember seeing it in a clip that I probably sent you. There is this fashion now for big Dornish shoulders.
Shoulders, yeah.
So
Let's go with the shoulders.
We've got big Dornish shoulders going,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So Gawain looks like, and Lord Hightower looks like he's tried to make himself a bit more respectable and kind of dinnerly and a bit of Westerosi evening wear, but Sir Gawain looks like a knight. Like that's all he strides around in. Like probably like a surcoat with like his it's a kind of yellow surcoat, and he's got 3 green oak leaves like embroidered on it, as is his family crest. Oh man, you guys said that you wanted more cool food descriptions, and I completely blanked on doing one for this. Answers on a postcard in chat. They're tucking into, I don't know, some kind of game bird. Quail, maybe. I don't know. With some veg. Can you make food out of roses? Is there something you can do with roses?
You can eat roses.
You could peel a carrot really thin and wrap it up so it looks like roses and shit.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, some like
chop it up and...
yeah. There's some they've got some radishes and they've made some fucking dumbass like roses out of them. Because the Tyrells have got a golden rose for their fucking heraldry. So, like, even here, it's being a bit bougie, like, almost unnecessarily. It's not like they've got Lord Leo here. Like, it's a meeting amongst middle managers. And yet they've Highgarden's kind of put out the silverware, It's got the other cutlery out.
They've got the company credit card. They're splurging for a little bit. It's fine.
Well, I mean, that's a fantastic segue, because Lord Hightower, from the moment that you sit down, is talking money, and essentially how, unfortunately, and he's kind of explaining to Sir Gawain, unfortunately, at the, it's quite kind of at the tourney. We weren't able to secure as much in the way of funds and possible more taxation to the Lord Hightower, to Lord Highgarden, as we would have hoped. The man is visibly sweating under his kind of grey formal wear. And Sir Gawain is just kind of, shooting him these, like, going off the handle a little bit, shooting him these, just get it fucking done. Just get it fucking done. Like, what's the matter? And it's all very quite short and quite, there's no offering of like, how can we help? What do we need to do? It's just, there's, absolute kind of frustration is getting like drilled towards this guy. And interestingly, Ransel Sloane is just kind of sipping his wine and sitting back and kind of watching it happen. There's no, from him, just kind of on the surface at least, there's no kind of favouring a side. This is the look very much of a businessman, which you know him to be. Is there anything you wanted to do or anything you wanted to glean from these people?
I think I would instinctively, when I saw that kicking off, move past one of the table with some drinks on it, and as Gawain is laying into him, just kind of break into it as if I'm completely oblivious to the fact that there is any disagreement going on whatsoever, and hand the two of them a glass. Gentlemen, so lovely to see you again.
Oh, thank you, my lady. Says Sir Gawain as he welcomes the fresh glass of wine. And Lord Hightower looks a bit like kind of yes. And there is that momentary pause between the two of them as someone else has just kind of come in and interjected, but kind of broken that moment.
Do feel free to continue arguing. You won't upset me.
I don't suppose you were able to charm any more possible donors, I would expect, or up anyone's obligation to his lordship whilst you're at the tourney?
How curious that you would think my greatest asset is my charm. I thought we'd know each other better than that by now.
Well, did you at least do any better than Randall here? He's referring to Lord Hightower. They've got awkwardly similar names.
In a way. Not sure what shall come of it, but it'll certainly be interesting finding out.
What do you make of the imprisonment of Lady Greenmont?
Yet more drama. I'm here because I must be.
Exactly. They don't seem to be. The family doesn't seem to be able to take care of anything on their own involving princes or the court, or even.
The majority of families will be guilty of that, don't you think? You'd look to your own family tree if you're going to cast such aspersions.
Need I remind you, lady, my lady, that it's my goods cousin, Lady Mara, who was the victim of this atrocity.
Of course. I'm merely saying that the madness surrounding it all is most unnecessary, and this could have been sorted out a long time ago, no?
Perhaps. But I wonder if Lady Marcia has some kind of wicked way of shaping things.
Shaping things?
Lord Hightower interjects nervously and says, "Oh, the Blood's Witch."
Oh, yes, that. Ah. People will talk if they don't have anything better to do. I usually find the simplest explanation is usually the most reasonable.
You don't seem so thoroughly convinced, then.
I'm not convinced by anything. I haven't heard anything yet. Just people talking.
And which of us would you imagine that will be lumped with sitting on that dais with his lordship in order to preside over the trial?
I don't know which one of you has annoyed somebody. Or impress somebody.
So Gawain turns to you and says, perhaps you fancy yourself again in the judge's chair.
I didn't fancy myself the first time. I did it because it was asked of me, as we should. No?
It's a very, quite.
Gentlemen, it's been lovely. And I leave them before this goes any further.
Oh, wow. I think there's a call from Lord Hightower of like, you're not staying for dessert, but you're off by that point.
I'm not leaving the room. I'm just leaving this conversation. I'm
Right.
absolutely staying for dessert.
Oh, okay. I need some funky desserts. Maybe there's some kind of like sticky pudding or something. There's like a cakey based thing. I don't know. It's partly your scene, Millie. What tickles your fancy? Something medievally, but like
something a little bit like citrusy sweet, like really.
Maybe a something in your cider.
Ooh. Something pear in cider with some sort of toffee. Oh,
yeah.
We have an idea.
If I may suggest, since it was already mentioned within the episode itself, why not something to do with blood oranges?
That's a very good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, some sort of
within the draft itself, sliced within.
In the Dornish style.
Mm-hmm.
Matured with Dornish orange peel or something.
Something like
real
that.
Dornish orange peel.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. No, I definitely stay for dessert, whatever that was. But I'm going to just surreptitiously glance at Rancelstone and see what the reaction to all that was while I'm making a fuss of getting myself another drink or something.
All right, Millie. Roll me your first roll of the game.
Oh God!
Yeah. So this
I
is going to be.
apologize in advance if this goes horribly wrong.
It won't. This is going to be awareness empathy. I just need you.
Oh God! Yeah, it's going to go horribly wrong.
Just need you to click on the empathy word on the character sheet. That's all.
Okie dokie.
So right, I have to. I have to look at his. I have to look at his passive deception. Okay. This is a fantastic moment to remind people that you can tip the cast, including myself. For some bonus and some test dice. And Millie is a newcomer to this.
That means this guy's a beast.
Yeah. She has
it might not.
Well, he's the Lord of Whispers, right? But she has never received any bonus or test dice so far, friends. So if you feel it in your hearts, please do chuck them our way. I will let you know if the Streamlabs pops up with anything.
Okay, so it's just a basic empathy test, right?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. 12.
That is good enough for my first little kind of surface level thing, and then I'll let you ask a question as well. I'm being generous today, I feel. So on the surface, he is trying not to side either way with the original conversation, the argument the two guys were having. But you kind of feel like, because he's positioned himself on the same side as Randall Hightower, there's some connection there. There's something going on there that he's maybe either supporting him or he's positioning himself on that side of the argument. Mm-hmm. But he is kind of enjoying the way that Sir Gawain is going about this, and his kind of flippancy and his anger. There's kind of a strange little joy in not being the one who is getting it in the neck. But yeah, strangely, there's no awkwardness either. But yeah, for sure, if you want to give me a question, I will answer truthfully.
Ooh, is he watching more than that in this room? And if so, what?
Oh, that is a good question. Sloane's is an interesting one because, as I described before, he has these kind of hooded brown eyes, and they don't really ever seem to pay any one particular person much attention. It's not that he's giving people much eye contact, or he's not, staying with someone with their talking. They're always just in a very kind of casual way, kind of taking in the scene, flitting around a little bit as well. But you're very conscious that he is taking in quite a bit from the way that you're all acting. And yeah, while not paying particular attention to yourself, he is trying to measure you for how you're taking this, and just I'd imagine he is interested in the fact that you're not wholeheartedly backing up Lord Hightower. The two of you travelled to the tournament together. Lord Hightower was speaking to as many lords and ladies as he could about the worries with the coffers in the as discreetly as he could, as did you a little bit as well. Particularly with Enzo, though. Yours was a different approach. Yours was there's this thing going on and we should really look into it. Whereas Highgarden's approach was strangely much more, please can we have some more taxes? Yeah.
Well, we got no money.
Basically, yeah.
So Sloane is sitting down watching this.
Oh yeah, just tucking into his pear at this point.
Okay. I'll sort of go and sit down next to him, not really paying attention, continue watching the conversation I just left, but speak to him.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a question to ask, you can just ask me,
What about?
Well, that's a dreadful question. You've used up all your goes.
The Lord of Whispers doesn't get goes, my lady.
Oh, really?
Really?
I look forward to the day when that's proved wrong. It'll be very amusing to see you so much less sure-footed.
It's taken years of practice for me to be so sure-footed. How did our good Lord perform when he was down at the tourney? Any good at all?
As most things there could be better. But...
Yes. Quite.
It's not their chosen career, though, is it?
No.
Try to be too good at too many things and you'll be no good at any of them.
Yes, I don't imagine a lot of lords really grow up to imagine that they'll be someone's treasurer.
No, I wouldn't enjoy being given that particular task. I'd try it, but I fear the position would be very temporary.
Temporary?
Well, there's only so long you can do something that you're dreadful at before you get replaced.
Please, read some history. The kings of Westeros have several examples where that is just the case.
I yield. A fair point. More's the pity.
Yes, quite.
So I suppose that's what this room is about, though, isn't it? Everybody clinging on for dear life, and I hope that they're not going to be the next one.
Yes. And he leans in much closer because obviously he's sat next to Lord Hightower.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is then, how long has he really got, do you think?
Which one?
And he motions his eyes towards Lord Hightower.
I suspect longer than you'd think.
Oh.
We shall see. Right. I think I've eaten and drunk and conversed quite enough for one evening. I need to go and wash the road off me and get some sleep. Have a pleasant evening.
May the gods go with you. Is there anyone that you would like to pay a visit to, or anything you'd like to do before hitting the
Ooh.
hay?
I know that anybody official will be no good today because everybody's knackered or partying or is about to be knackered.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I might butter up a servant or two if somebody's going to. Would people be assigned to my room to look after me or bring things?
You would actually, I think they bring their people with them.
Right. Okay.
You'd have a couple of your own staff effectively with you, having followed you to Fox Hollow in the tournament for the Greenmonts, all the way here to Highgarden as well. You'd certainly have. You'd have a handmaiden.
In that case, I'm going to send her to do it for me. And I'm going to invent something like a little bit peculiar that I want, like something very specific and a little bit like, why would you want that difficult thing? It's like a tiny flex, but it's also just enough to get people talking.
Okay.
I'm going to send her to go down to the kitchens or whatever to get it for me. I do not want them to start saying I'm pregnant, by the way, so it can't be food.
Okay. Yeah, is it like Caesar says in chat, is it like you're trying to just be like that hotel guest, or what's the play?
A little bit. It's just enough. I want people to start talking about the fact that I have very discerning tastes.
Okay.
But not so much that I'm a pain in the ass. It's just like, oh, wasn't expecting that.
Okay. I'm trying to think now of something that isn't food or drink.
Tricky. Or maybe just like a pillowcase.
Yeah.
Or something, like a specifically silken pillowcase or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's done look after itself.
Has to be Dornish silk or specific type of silk.
Yeah, there is let's say it's a silk from across the Narrow Sea. You know that Highgarden has a few of these from your last stay. It wasn't that long ago, to be fair, a couple of months ago. And so yeah, you are that hotel guest for the night, and the servant, your handmaiden, we should 100% give her a name as well, and maybe even a personality at some point.
Potentially, possibly.
Yeah. Names in chat, because I have a male name generator and I haven't got around to the female name generator yet.
Name that lady.
Yeah.
But I think I would do it so that somebody would have to come up to the room to deliver it rather than my handmaiden doing it. She just kind of passes on the message.
Okay. What I will do then is I will get you to roll a status check.
Ooh, okay.
This is going to be status... let's have a look. This is going to be status reputation. Okay,
and I've got +2 to status results.
Yeah, so whatever the result is, just add a couple on after. Because it's a modifier to the actual result rather than extra dice. Great. 15's lush. 12 is what I was looking for. Yeah, so you effectively, because it's a bit of a weird one that your handmaiden can't get it. So you send her down, and then effectively like a kind of shabby looking page boy comes up with it from the from the stores, and raps on the door, hands it to your handmaiden.
Come in.
And he looks quite nervously around, but then he kind of walks in and awkwardly doesn't shut the door.
Probably for the best. Oh, thank you ever so. It's terribly difficult looking after this in this humidity. Does that make any sense?
What's humidity?
It's heat and moisture in the air. It makes ladies' hair look dreadful, and I do so want to look nice.
Oh.
Is it working?
The moisture in the air?
have a pear. And I pull a pear out of the fruit bowl and
Thanks.
hand it to him. And if he picks it up, he'll see that there's like a little coin underneath it that I've kind of sleight of hand handed to him because he's gonna need it.
He, bless him, just doesn't know how to react. Well, I guess he's probably received a tip or two in his life, but it depends how generous you want to be.
Quite generous.
We need to give you some pocket money. I don't know why I'm excited about
Thanks,
this.
Dad.
Hey, it's all your money now.
Yay!
The wealth of Golden Grove is yours.
It's all going to go on small servants.
It's all going to go on little page boys, tipping them. All right. Right. Break from the cool roleplay for a second while I dig out the PDF.
Money stuff.
If
Yeah.
it's an entire gold dragon, I swear to God, this page boy in bringing up a drink
gonna
will have made
retire
more
now.
money. Yeah, more money than Simon has ever seen.
I'm generous. I'm not an idiot.
No,
But
the
this
page boy's
child
the idiot.
is,
Yeah,
apparently.
the page
So
boy's the
he's
idiot.
going to need it.
There's a lot you can get in Highgarden with 2 groats.
Apparently.
There's at least
Sorry,
at
Jason.
least a Tom. At least a
Don't
couple
be
of
silly.
Toms
I'm not
for
going
a
to
day.
pay for it.
Where am I even looking? Games of Thrones. There we go. I need our house rules. Some of the house rules I nabbed from my old mate Peter. House rules. House rules. It was in character generation. Starting possessions. Okay. I would like you to roll for me, please, a status stewardship test.
Ooh, okay.
And we are going to multiply that result by your choice of either your cunning rank, your fighting rank, your persuasion rank, your thievery rank, or your warfare rank.
Okay. Persuasion, then.
Yes.
Stewardship. So it's 10. So 40.
You have 40 silver stags.
Hmm.
Which, I'm really sorry, Millie, just to really mess with you, there are 210 silver stags in a gold dragon.
My ADHD's already screaming. Continue.
And there is some copper pennies
Mhm.
to a silver stag. It's all done in sevens because they have this fucking pantheon that's stupid.
Of course they do.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you have like you're not rich, but you're nobility, right? You're the one that has the money. Like this boy probably earns like fucking 3 copper fucking pennies a day, and you just handed him like 6 months' wages, maybe, depending on. Right. So, how much do you want to hand him?
So stag would be how many days roughly?
Oh, let me have a little look at some of the equipment.
I want it to be
costs.
enough so that he's like, oh my God, it's Christmas, but not so much that he's like, oh my God, I'll retire.
I'm going to digress for just a second and explain how I really want to write an RPG one day there where like stuff isn't measured in absolute amounts. It's measured in like a bit is smaller than some is smaller than a lot is, you know what I mean. Anyway.
Yeah.
How many toms? Okay. So, oh wow. Yeah, this boy earns like a copper penny a day.
Oh, well, he's not very good. So that
farm wages per day or a labourer per day. Yeah, okay. So he earns like 6 copper pennies a day. So
okay.
you could give him like a number of days.
Yeah, let's like give him a week's worth.
Ooh, all right. And 6 sevens are not me. I didn't do maths very well. Somebody?
48 copper.
Cool.
Let's say yes.
I don't know. I didn't really think it together. I was just kind of.
Oh,
Well, I've got the
God.
thing here, and 7 stars or 56 pennies.
This feels like when the whole table is trying to calculate the tip.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
It really
just,
does.
Just give the boy a stag, and that's pretty much what you want to do.
well,
Yeah.
7 stags are 392 pennies,
Ah!
according to this.
I hate
I'm
this. I
regressing
have
this
never
entire
hated
scene.
anything more than what is happening right now.
I'll give him a stag. Sod it.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
He's
done.
happy. He's well
yeah,
happy.
56 pennies a stag.
Okay.
What I legit might do is house rule this to simplicity, so that there's
Please.
like the 3 currencies. Maybe there's, maybe there is 210 stags to a drag, but maybe the copper pennies just go up in a amount or something, whatever.
Mm.
I like the 7s, except when it's blatantly not 7 numerous times. That didn't help either. Anyway. Oh my god. Right. We're done now. We're done. The economics is done.
As he's freaking out and skipping, I'm assuming, away.
Yeah.
What's your name, lad?
Oh god. Tywin.
Yeah. Tywin. Lovely to meet you, Tywin.
That's what the
My name
generator
is
said, Susie.
Faye.
I can't stop it. Yes, my lady, and he bows.
Should I need your help in future, may I send for you?
Oh, of course, my lady, of course. And he's like bowing every other word.
Excellent. Have a lovely evening.
Yes, you too. I really want him to do a horrible, the receipts in the bag. You too, like one of those really awkward. I don't quite know what to. I don't quite know what to say. What was it? Have a lovely evening. I don't know. He says some stupid non sequitur.
And then walks into a wall on his way out.
Yep. Walks into the door frame. Oh, and then staggers away. This boy of 8.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'll go out onto the. Is there a balcony? I'd assume there would be a balcony.
Oh, you have a balcony. Yeah.
I'll put on a robe because I don't want to be warm. And stand up out on the balcony and just enjoy a drink and some fruit and see what I can see out of the window.
Well, you are met with a beautiful Reacher landscape. There are fields upon fields of golden roses that are grown around the grounds of the castle. You can see under the first kind of largest curtain wall that the castle, the keep, is behind, this briar of maze that extends beyond it. It's the closest, I guess, sort of fantasy medieval person would get to seeing the the Minesweeper map almost, like seeing the map of the maze. And it springs to mind that you can imagine that a number of guests who have then tried the maze have tried to memorize the layout that they can see from the castle walls to see if they can get to the other side with ease. You're a bit more accustomed to coming and going from Highgarden, so that you know these a little bit. I can imagine that these are essentially your guest chambers. They're the Golden Grove chambers. So you make use of these regularly as if you would like a townhouse, or if you're an MP, you have a second residence. This is effectively your second residence in a way, but little studio apartment style thing in Highgarden. Anything else you want to do tonight? Don't have to.
Can I see anything going on? I'm more interested in just if there's anything happening.
No, it is suspiciously quiet outside. For what you can see, in the yard, there's pretty much bugger all going on. But out in the distance, you can see the campfires of the Tarly host. is currently camped maybe just a league or so away. It springs to mind that from a lot of political experience you've had, but the little warfare experience you've had too, is that they are effectively like making themselves known without being kind of close or imposing enough to be a besieging force. But this is the Tarly's war host. This is their army, is just like camped not far from Highgarden, where the trial for Lady Mara Oakheart is about to take place. Lady Mara, I mean, you travelled with the your kind of procession up to Highgarden was always effectively being chased a little bit by the Tarly host. They moved a bit slower, and you managed to kind of move away from them a little bit in the kind of last week or so. But now they're back with you. It's a very political move, and it feels like that to you. No doubt Lady Mara will be there because they, she left with the Tarlys from the tourney. But Lord Sam will probably be with her, from what you've heard tonight.
I'll definitely be looking over it, thinking on the trial coming up, but also not sure if I'm looking forward to that awkward conversation or not, because I do need to have that awkward conversation with Samuel if I can find him.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably quite looking forward to it. We'll see.
Nice.
Can I see the water from here?
Yeah, you can see the water of the Manda, for sure.
I think I'll just relax, like lean against the balcony and sip the wine and look at it and just watch the water for a bit.
Nice.
Don't give me those eyebrows, Tom.
Simon, to your surprise, quite late into the evening, after you've managed to take your supper in one of the kind of feasting halls in the castle, amongst the common tables and knights and squires, pages, all sorts will gather there and eat and play savas or dice. You are approached by a page, essentially, adult kind of servant in the Tyrell colours, and he says, "Mr. Simon."
I go by that name, yes.
If it please you, his Lord Leo Tyrell has asked you an audience.
Huh? That's not the noise I make in character, but he'll stand and follow the page, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, you follow around up a winding staircase up towards Lord Leo's solar, and you are invited inside. The great oak door is pushed open, and inside, with the candles burning low, you see at his desk Lord Leo, and he's poring over some sheets of parchment and messages, and in the kind of rolled up scrolls from crow's feet, and as you come inside, he stands, and he asks, "Simon?"
Yes, my lord.
as he looks for his own thing. I have spoken to Godric today, this evening. He informs me that, to his knowledge, you are the closest thing we have to a maester with a Valyrian steel link. Is that correct?
I suppose.
You suppose. Well, I don't see one around your neck, so...
Unfortunately. A work in progress. My studies upon the Blood Witches have been temporarily postponed.
I see. Well, your knowledge is about to be asked for. Now, from what I understand, and of course you were to understand as well that this would be Lord Sloane will have told me, but you are somehow related to Lady Marcia, but not by blood. Is that right?
By all rights and technicalities, given my oath, I am not related to the Lady Marcia.
And do you bear any acquaintance to her in life?
Brief acquaintance during the tournament that has most recently passed, and subsequently been quite silent.
That's good to know. He kind of rubs his eyes and he walks around the desk. He doesn't approach you too closely, but he, stands astride of you and he says, Symon, what do you know about this magic Lady Marcia supposedly has, this command over her shadow cat?
Would this be a roll, or would this just be me riffing?
I mean, if you just want to freely give up the information, this could be you riffing. If you wanted to feel in the meta a bit more genuine about it, we could roll. If you don't want to give up the information, then we'll be starting an intrigue.
I do want to give up the information.
Okay.
So there's that. But I just want to see what Symon actually knows.
Okay, yeah. All right. Why don't you roll for me a knowledge check? But I'm not going, in this instance, let you apply your education bonus dice. Because it kind of sits, it's appropriate, right? You haven't got all of that knowledge yet.
Yeah.
But you can still apply your cunning rank.
Okay. And if I do have a knowledge focus specifically in histories and legends, would that tie in at any point or no?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could go with that angle, basically.
Yeah, so basically it would be me rolling, adding the education dice as test die.
Okay, yeah.
To that.
Yeah.
So
the answers and the information that I give you and that you can give Lord Leo will be based on myths and legends rather than your actual kind of pseudo-metaphysical knowledge about magic.
Yeah. All right, so that would be roll 76, keep 5, I think, and then add 4 to the end of it.
Well, if it's not your knowledge focus, is that keeping all of your education bonus dice?
Oh, that's a good point.
You're rolling them as test die, right? So you're just...
Yes, so it would be keeping 7.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess. Let me have a look at your sheet quickly.
Yeah. Because I got a 5 in knowledge, 2 in education.
And yeah, I believe it's rolling 7, keeping 7. So this is let's just look at the benefits quickly.
Histories and legends, education bonus test die. Bonus to test die.
Knowledge focus. When testing knowledge in these chosen areas, convert your education bonus dice into test dice. Yep, you're rolling 7, keeping 7. And adding...
4. 29.
All right. Yeah, so obviously the legends of wargs to the north. That's a little bit of genuine. Let's check the wiki. A little bit of genuine stuff. Yeah, skin changers or beastlings. Let's see if there are any famous ones. Okay, so the children of the forest were said to be the first people to skin change, to move into the minds of animals. There have also been a couple of legends based around the Night's Watch and the Wall about various skin changes, and they all have, very very lyrical names, and so and so the so-and the something or other, and these really kind of grim things. According to some ancient ballads, Gavin Greywolf was a skin changer who was defeated by the kings of winter in the War of the Wolves. Interestingly, oh mate, this is the juice. This is the fucking juicy fruits. Right, you ready for this? The legend of House Crane is that Rose of Red Lake, one of the legendary children of Garth Greenhand, who would have established, because Red Lake is theirs, yeah, she's the legendary daughter, an ancestor of House Crane. According to legend, she was a skin changer who could transform into a crane at will. And some say that this ability manifests in the women of House Crane from time to time. And Lady Marcia Greenmont is formerly Lady Crane. Hong Kong indeed, Don.
Hong Kong. Yeah, so the question was specifically, do I know the background sort of how Marcia could potentially control the Shadowcat, right?
I mean, he just asked, what is your knowledge of
what is your professional opinion?
Yeah, how could she do this? Is there any validity into the accusations that she's skin changing?
There is much evidence to support apocryphally the evidence as presented. However, I must admit, much of my knowledge within these matters is rooted in study rather than practical. I would have to either examine the Lady Marcia, in order to assess her potential connection to the beast, or we would have to write to Old Town and see if we couldn't wrangle someone who does have a link of Valyrian steel to make a determination.
Unfortunately, I do not have the luxury of time in this regard. Lady Marcia has demanded trial by ordeal.
May I inquire as to the nature of the ordeal?
I have not decided yet. Is she... I can't believe I'm quite asking this. Maester, is she able to change into this Shadowcat? Or crane? Or whatever might else take her fancy?
Without further examination, I'm afraid I can't make a solid diagnosis. I would need time with her.
still, it is not whether she is
Accorded.
a skin changer that she's on trial.
If I may propose, Lord Tyrell, this is a matter which the Crown itself has commented upon. If I remember correctly, the Targaryens themselves have set aside particular official proclamations specifying that the rumors surrounding the blood switch, as which she is so known, were false. If I were to make a determination in contrary to that proclamation, I believe it would be both our heads. So therefore, I would ask simply for time with the Lady Marcia, so that I might make a determination. A few nights' worth. Shouldn't be longer than that.
All right. I want you to roll for me a persuasion. Convince, I guess.
Would it be possible to do act as well? Because I have one bonus dice in act.
I mean, actually,
Or is it?
so yeah, you know my rule on deception. So if you trying to see Marcia is anything other than actually trying to examine her to see whether she's capable of shapeshifting, then it's deception.
Yeah, I'm lying. I'm not going to see her to make a determination.
I'm shocked and appalled.
How dare?
Quite frankly. Okay, cool. So roll deception act. Deception act? Or is it bluff normally? What's the cheat sheet say? What's the equivalent?
To the cheat sheet.
If you're convincing, it is act. Congratulations. You can have the bonus dice. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a bonus die in both, so.
Nice. All right. This is just against a passive will. A 12. Okay. He looks reluctant, but he says, very well, I'll have to afford the court some days before the trial. You may see her. My guards will escort you in the morning.
I had business in the morning to attend to, unfortunately. A meeting with the Lady Rowan.
Well,
if it must be pushed aside, I would be happy to do so.
Oh, no. At your own leisure, please. And he just turns around and walks back to his desk.
In the morning it shall be, then.
Thank you. You may go. He doesn't look back up at you.
Can I just get a quick beat on him? Just to see where he's at?
I mean, I think he's at pissed off.
Fair enough.
It's pretty obvious. But yeah, if you want, roll away. Well, roll empathy. A 9.
He's angry. Wow, he's angry.
Yeah, he's angry. Yeah, you can ask me a question about his demeanor, if you like.
It's not just the trial, is it?
What, that he's pissed off about?
Yeah, is that the only thing that I get from him? Like, is that the only thing he's pissed about, or is there something more?
Oh, the fact that he's got an army camps just down the road's probably pissing him off as well.
Probably.
The fact that he's got to deal with this whole fucking shenanigans and the fucking Greenmonts again. Great.
Fair enough.
Love that. The guy's just having a great time. Yeah, just a great time.
This is a back out of the room respectfully and just wait for the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Did you want to cover the morning and trying to meet up with Lady Faye?
I mean, if Tom and Millie are up to it, yeah, I'd
Yeah.
be happy to.
Yeah, I can do that.
You could meet over a breakfast, break your fast together. Blood
Yeah, I can
sausages,
indeed.
fried bacon,
Why not?
Very nice.
some fried eggs.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
I legit go
Don't
for
worry,
a
we've
snack.
only got like 30 more minutes.
Yeah, I'm going for a snack
Those are
after
a few
this.
of my favorite things. Yes.
Okay,
All
cool.
right.
Where would you like to have this?
A common area. Definitely probably the hall, I would say.
Okay. Well, so Lady Faye, you are deigned to go down to the common halls to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You probably do have like a little dining room in these kind of chambers, these areas that you've got that are yours. You've probably got little rooms. It's more like you've got more like a suite. You know, you got like an American hotel. You've got like a suite rather than just a room, like it's like a travel lodge. You've got like a proper little apartment style thing. But yeah, you are deigned to go downstairs. Obviously, you don't have to. You can try and.
No,
get the
I
boys to meet you
want to
somewhere
see
else.
everybody
All right,
that
cool.
first day. I want to see who's there and see if anything catches my eye.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Okay. Roll me awareness notice then.
Oh God. And then it all went wrong. La, la, la. Awareness notice.
Just for a quick snap idea, I was looking for
Rubbish.
12. Yeah. So you have a look around. There's quite a few people up and about. There's still quite a few sleepy heads who haven't risen yet, as the day's travelling has got to people.
Just distracted by the food.
Yeah. You see the continental breakfast over the way, and you're like, no, give me the menu. Where are you, waiter? But no. But yeah, you guys can convene on a trestle table. You are brought sausages, bacon, eggs, other Westerosi food. Continue, and I'll just shout breakfast food at you.
Yeah. I think I would definitely have a little more on my plate than most ladies normally would.
Yeah.
And I'm eating with delicate enthusiasm.
Delicate
I like that.
enthusiasm.
Yes. Keep minding my manners,
love
but
it.
I clearly have an appetite.
Enzo's probably he's there. He's got. I wouldn't say it was like a massive, but he's got some meats. He's got some fruits. He's and stuff like that. And he's definitely got like a mug of mead in the morning, to sip at while he's having breakfast.
It's got maybe a hare's leg.
Yeah.
Or two.
Yeah, I'll have that.
What else is there?
Hmm.
Ooh, milk sweetened with honey.
Ooh,
Why not?
Mm.
haven't tried that. All right. Yeah. Gotta bite the bullet. So as Lady Rowan sits down and sort of enjoys, again in sort of delicate fashion, Symon will sit across from her with Enzo hopefully in earshot.
Oh yeah, I'm there. I'm
Thank God.
sat at the same table, just happily, just kind of eating and watching with fascination.
I'll shoot Enzo as a look as he sits down, like, who's gonna speak first? And then Symon turns up and I'm like, okay, well, what's this game then? Just not reacting, just polite smiles, continue eating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be the one to break the silence.
My Lady Rowan, I know it is impossible to undo a first impression, but I was hoping we might discuss something. And to perhaps be more cooperative than I was last time we saw each other.
Sorry, have
Symon.
we met? You must just have one of those faces that looks like everybody else.
I must indeed.
Enzo's
Simon.
got a big smirk on his face.
And are you better than when we last met, Simon, or have things continued to descend?
That, I'm afraid, is quite the truth. The latter, not the former.
Oh, good. Herald of Woe returns. I sort of raise a piece of sausage in toast. Oh, goody. This is occurring again.
Enzo's going to give Simon a reassuring nod and smile. A kind of, you're okay. Keep going. Keep going.
Just pointed glare. It concerns matters of taxation and the performance of the Lord Hightower in his capacity as Master of Coin for this court. I'm afraid he's overlooked certain revenues.
Overlooked?
Completely disregarded, more like, to be perfectly frank.
Knowingly?
Potentially.
Enzo, at that point, when he starts talking about taxation, he is going to look around and see if anyone at all is listening, that shouldn't be. And he is on boop, 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 boop kind of scope.
On the awareness notice.
Ooh.
All right, that's just that. Plus 423.
Oof. There is a harper, not harper. There is a. Oh, there's a singer plucking away at a lute, not far from you, that is doing quite a good job at looking like he's not listening to you.
Yeah. As they start talking, I'm going to lean in, and he goes, I do not wish to stop this lovely conversation and new introduction, but perhaps such things should be better discussed in a more private case.
I was
You've
so
seen
enjoying
someone-
this breakfast. Shall we walk, gentlemen? I hear the maze is particularly lovely.
Oh, I've always wanted to see the maze.
I'm sure you have.
Simon literally laughs at that and just stands and lets her take the lead.
I will lead the way.
I'm gonna give
longingly look back at my plate, like.
I'm gonna give the harpist singer a wink as we walk off, and you know what? I'm gonna pocket a sausage or two.
All right.
Jesus, I did not expect to hear today.
Shrinkage, pocket of sausage.
Yeah.
Please.
No.
Gosh, sounds like a song.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you lead the guys through the yard and then into part of the maze that you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And I'm going to keep us. If there's a part of a route that I know well, I'm just going to keep us moving constantly. So if there was somebody following us, it would be impossible for them to overhear without being visible because the paths go in different directions.
I would like you to roll for me, please. Stealth.
In which they get lost in a maze forever.
If you've got any bonus dice in orientation from the survival ability, then add a bonus dice or two, whatever it is. No, okay. So roll me a flat stealth check, then, please.
Oh no! Oh no!
Our entire season is just going to be stuck in this maze. Just the three of us, just crying, trying to get out.
Just the maze.
We've had to eat our shoes to survive.
After we've gone through the sausages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Well, I'm at least certain whoever would be listening will be working on behalf of the Lord Sloane.
The Lord Sloane.
Yes, Master of Whispers.
Yeah, I am aware.
My apologies. I spoke of revenues that were being ignored, neglected, uncollected, mainly rooting from some of the marcher houses, in particular houses Peak and Costain. Of principal urgency, I would suspect would be Costain, merely because I was unable to conduct a full analysis of his missing contributions.
And why is that?
Lord Sloane's predecessor, Dismera Redwyn, viewed my manner as threatening, mainly because I was uncooperative with her investigations.
Threatening. Threatening, yes. Continue.
Perhaps not physically, but mentally.
Ah.
And so, in your capacity as Warden of the Reach, Warden of the Northern Marches, gods, these titles, I would request that you and I approach the Lord Hightower to bring this potential issue to light and to afford me some time and some ability to rectify the situation.
You think you can fix this? Convince people to do what they're not doing?
All we need is a cause. How it is collected will be decided and dependent upon their actions.
Did you happen to discover why it was that these collections had slipped their minds?
As I recall, the Lord Peak had, many years ago, declared some sort of war party, and perhaps neglected to pay up in the proper amount. Now, with Gorman Peak's death, it falls on his son to do so. But the one who has persisted most stubbornly is Mathos Costain, Lord Mathos Costain. And he says that with like a heap full of venom.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's not only been paying up, I believe he's been financing some worrying ventures. Of course, this is
have anything
speculation.
to do with Dorne, would they?
Far worse.
You think of Dorne as bad? Good to know.
I think of Dorne as one of 7 kingdoms. One of 7 kingdoms that all look to themselves, first and foremost. And the Reach has a bag over its head. I'm just trying to find out who put it there.
Well, then I think you should do just that.
With the blessing of the court, of course. Of which you are a part. Of which you are a valued part.
Well, loathed as I am to take responsibility for speaking to the entirety of the court, I am rather looking forward to letting your particular brand of cordiality loose on the deserving. Perhaps we shall make some introductions.
In due time, of course. I unfortunately must away. Business with the Lord Tyrell.
I'm unsurprised.
Unfortunately.
The sky is falling, woe is me. And then he vanishes.
I'm sure my most charming of companions will be able to keep you company. Thank you for the introduction, by the way, Enzo.
I look genuinely panicked just for a little second. Like, you're not going to leave us in a fucking maze alone, right? Right?
And he walks away.
Oh!
I
No,
certainly-
I genuinely just gaping for a second. Like,
Is there something wrong?
no. No, nothing's wrong. You do bring me the most peculiar presents.
I wanted to just see what would happen. It was curiosity.
I spent a great deal of time last night waiting to see what would happen. It's a lovely view. Turns out nothing.
Well, I hope to one day see your lovely view. Mine is... I'm sleeping in a bunk.
I give you a little look like this very much sounds like a you problem.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. That sounds charming.
No, it's not. It's quite horrible. No.
Oh.
I barely slept last night.
Oh,
It was terrible.
such a famous man to be staying in such a dreadful... My heart breaks for you.
Thank you. It isn't nice to know that such a woman's heart could break for the terrible burden that I have to go through.
Yes. It's unfortunate that sympathy doesn't open doors, isn't it? I don't suppose you remember the way out of here. It's been a while since
Actually, no. I just hope that Simon does, because otherwise he's going to be in trouble.
Oh boy,
we might all be in trouble.
I'm sure.
I would like Simon to come back into scene having gone down the wrong way.
You just see him just go past like
like,
one. There's that, those shots where there's like just one bit of the head and just someone goes just past it.
Yeah.
And Simon, as you start to find your way and as you start to actually exit the maze, you just hear very faintly the song of "The Day We Hang Black Robin," just off in the distance. Myria. One last scene. And we're all done for the session. You approach Sunspear in the early afternoon, as most of the carriage is sleeping off their stay from the water gardens. Sunspear is a large walled settlement. You've got 3 winding walls. This is much different from the architecture of Highgarden, although you can see that there are kind of parallels in the fact that there are these 3 winding walls, but the walls seem to have their own idea about where they want to go, and like circling round the kind of 3 grades of the kind of buildings that you see. In the very center of them, you've got those 2 tall towers, the very slender one and the kind of the round tower with the dome. It's, the golden roofs, again, bouncing the morning light off and sometimes just into your eyes occasionally as you ride on in. Let's have a look. These winding walls encircle one another, and you can already see from your approach that they contain miles of narrow alleyways, hidden courts, and noisy bazaars. On the outskirts of the town, of the the keep, the castle, and all these kind of fortifications themselves, is the shadow town of Sunspear. It's the closest thing that to a true city that Sunspear really kind of has. But it's kind of strange, kind of dusty town. It's built against that outer winding wall of Sunspear, and it extends westwards out towards you. You make your way, the procession makes its way through. you worry for a second that there are going to be these winding alleyways and corridors you've got to try and navigate and get the whole procession up towards. But there is a single kind of main road, and as you look up the hill towards the keep itself, you see there are these 3 gates that are basically leading you up very clearly, directly in a kind of straight line towards the keep. These are the threefold gate, where they're lined up behind one another. It avoids the labyrinth entirely and gives you a straight passageway on a brick path up towards the old palace. As you get closer in, you can see that there are kind of these mud brick shops and windowless hovels can be found. Stables, inns, and wine sinks and pillow houses are found much further out in the Shadow Town. Essentially, you've got these 2 kind of contrasting parts of Sunspear that are possible to explore or exploit. You've got the kind of slightly more kind of regal, more princely, more Rhoynar kind of looking, beautiful kind of towers in this castle, and the yards and these noble buildings. And then you've got this Shadow Town, this kind of makeshift buildings built upon buildings, with no real planning to it, or any kind of design. And unlike King's Landing, because I think did you know you stayed at Fox Hollow?
No, I
during
went
the
to King's
downtime?
Landing with
You went to King's
Marcia.
Landing.
I didn't go back to Summerhall.
That's
was
it.
the one I
right.
didn't go to.
So King's Landing, in contrast, has some sense to it. There is like a Smith Street, and there is a Thingy Street, and you go to that street to go and visit the alchemists, or you go to that street to go and visit the Horse people. Not to the old campaign there. But this is just, but by the looks of it, by the kind of what you can see flanked on both sides of you on this brick path, it's just shops, on stables, on tanneries, on boardie houses, on wine sinks. It's just entirely random. But as you approach the second of the threefold gate, as you approach that gatehouse, you can see hung, drawn, and quartered on the thing is a Dornish man. As you approach closer up towards the gate, you can see writs and posters all kind of pasted onto pillow house walls and stable posts and the sides of the threefold gate. And they essentially read of blasphemy. And the simple thing that you can get from the glances around is that they are saying that speaking or writing the old Rhoynar tongue is forbidden and is punishable as treason by Daeron the Good.
So that doesn't sit well with Myria. She doesn't know much of the old tongue, but no, she's not about that. And she's gonna, as she passes this body and these signs. I assume she's just with with the signs that she was with.
You're with the sands basically. Yeah.
Yeah. She's just gonna look it over, and I think she sort of tuts loudly, and I think she'll say quietly to Nikos if he's near her, or something, to be like, "What do you think of this?"
The orphans have always had a bad time of it. I'm trying to find their full title now. Orphans of the Green Blood. They've always had a bad time of it.
Don't you think it's I don't know the word to say, but bad that they are suppressing history, even if it's not their history. It's still the history of this land, no?
It is. It speaks to the history of the migration, Rhoynar migration. But if the king does not want it spoken, then the Martells must oblige, I guess.
Who are we to question a king? She giggles in her head.
Yeah. He gives you a little bit of a history lesson. The Red Princes were the first to try and ban the Rhoynish language, and it went further underground. And then they founded Planky Town. May go, perhaps one day. It is not far from here, and he points down towards the river, as Sunspear itself is flanked on 3 sides by the sea. And there's a kind of a large... it's the mouth, isn't it? The very end of a river.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of a large mouth. It's almost kind of, proper big Thames estuary style, big kind of estuary size. So the sea itself looks like it's basically almost an island, but not quite, because it's got the it's the Greenblood, I think. That's the actual river running up from there. From Sunspear. Or maybe just south of it. Huh. Maybe I missed that. Yeah, actually. So the Greenblood's a bit further south than you, but Planky Town's further towards Lemon Tree. But the blood mixes. Many people can say that they are part Roina, really, part Dornish, but the orphans, they have never really wanted to integrate with Westerosi customs. This is all the richer, for Dorne is shaped by this. And they are resilient people. The more you try and push them down, the more resilient they become. Well, why? I mean, many ships from the kind of south of the Narrow Sea, or even the Summer Isles, they stop at Blankytown before they stop anywhere else.
And as he's talking, Myria sort of like eyes him a little bit and just, how do you know all this?
I listen, I pay attention. What
You
am I
weren't paying much attention last night.
Am I under some suspicion now?
No, not at all. I am merely asking questions. And we've been traveling together for how long now? And I don't really know a lot about you.
Maybe I'd like to keep it that way.
Huh. A man of mystery.
I have not been so intriguing about you. I have not inquired unnecessarily.
No.
No, you
I
did.
didn't mean to offend you in any way.
I am not offended.
Your face looks offended.
Very well.
And I think she's gonna be like, this is kind of conversation hasn't gone in a fun way. I'm just gonna drop it and carry on.
Yeah, I mean, effectively, the sands, so the kind of camp followers are stopped at the first of the threefold gates. The second, then kind of some merchants, some travelers who are joining you have started to pair off as well. But then once you get to the actual final threefold gate, in front of the kind of the main kind of Roynish quarter, or the keep kind of proper, so I say the royal quarter seems appropriate for kind of prince and princesses. That's where the sands are stopped. That really, it's the queen, her carriage, that procession there, her closest guard, kind of. Then it's proper nobility, lords and ladies and stuff. Whilst Dorne doesn't have as much bother about bastards and bastardy as the rest of Westeros does. And indeed, I think they're much more able to inherit and stuff like that. There's no stigma attached to it. That this company that you formed is, like I said, it's more of a ragtag, guardy kind of fighting force than it is actually, oh, well, I'm so-and-so's daughter, or I'm so-and-so's son. I'm going to go in here because I'm nobility. There are a couple that manage to kind of make their way past, but the Sands and your kind of status level, you all find a place among some boarding houses that are just this side of the final threefold gate. Are there any? Oh, go on.
I think like while they're unpacking in this boarding house or whatever, Myria is again gonna talk to Nikos and say, it's a shame. I wanted to get my eyes on the prince.
Well, I guess he's very busy carving up
I guess.
Royna men.
I saw him once when I was a little girl.
The prince?
Mm-hmm.
Mayron.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I just wanted to see him again, see if he looked the same,
Okay. I thought you were going to say, see if he recognized you. I very much doubt it.
I doubt it too. I've changed a lot.
He probably doesn't care either. And he throws a bit of clothing at you as he jokes with you there.
Yeah, and she takes it, and inwardly she's like, "Oh, I bet he will." Do you want to get into a little bit of trouble?
Always. No, it depends. What?
You want to sneak into the palace?
You're serious?
I'm deadly serious.
Okay.
Nikos, we've come all this way.
Yeah. I guess
Mary's like folding something as she looks at him.
Yeah.
Please.
I guess if we run into trouble, if we lose, at least then I find out who your father or mother was.
Oh, is that what's intriguing you about me?
It's something at least.
And maybe I find out who your parents are.
Oh, well, if we're getting to know each other like this, then perhaps maybe we should have a more serious conversation about what this is.
And Maria steps forward and she's folding something. Perhaps we should.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to try and get into the palace, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How?
I don't know. I mean, I'm very charming, so we could try talking our way through guards, but risky.
Okay.
Not familiar with the architecture of the palace, so physically sneaking in might be difficult. But I sense there's more to you than meets the eye.
In what way?
I think you have and she looks at him, she's like, I don't know. You come across as someone with skills.
Skills with the spear.
We'll have to test that someday.
Put a bow in my hand, I'm almost as good.
Right. Sneaking, talking to people.
Lady's choice.
Tell you what. Meet me here at nightfall. Then we'll sneak in.
Meet you here, in the room we are staying in. Okay.
Look, I don't know what you're going to get up to today.
That's true. There was a very good wine sink I was going to perhaps just try and shake this off with. Oh.
Besides, I have shopping to do.
Oh, well, don't let me keep you.
I won't. And she shoves stuff, just throws it on the bed and walks out.
All right. Yeah. Do you have some legit shopping?
Yeah, so Maria would have cobbled together, when she left, she'd have taken her savings with her, which isn't a whole lot, I don't think. She's got a couple of dragons.
Okay.
A couple of stags. But she's gonna try and find somewhere in this town where she can update her wardrobe, because obviously she's got very Reacher fashion. Beyond the Dornish stuff she's been wearing, the limited Dornish stuff that she has,
Yeah.
but she definitely needs to have more Dornish clothing. And maybe some stuff that's a little tighter in form and that's a little darker in hue for a night mission, perhaps.
Nice. Cool. Okay. Did you want some courtier's garb?
Yes.
Noble's garb?
Ooh. Well, I think she wants something that's like a little flashier than the status that she's presenting as right now. That she wants something that would be like a noble lady of good standing would wear, rather than just like, oh, this is a sand. So people will be like, oh, who her daddy? When she walks into like a place when she's wearing this dress, right? It makes her look like she's more important.
Mm-hmm. That will be 100 silver stags, please.
Okay. I will give you 100 silver stacks. That's a lot. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, for sure. That's easy peasy. And yeah,
Cool.
it's basically her shopping for the day. Just reacquainting. Maybe she'll have like an orange or something. She's getting acquainted walking around the city,
Okay. Yeah. Why don't you make me a streetwise check?
Streetwise check.
Yeah. Difficulty 12.
Difficulty 12.
You've got a keep dice in your frame if you want it.
Do you know what? I'll use it.
Cool.
Just gonna roll 46. 14.
Very nice. Okay. For you have to note this down somewhere, but for like a future test or something, if you want to have a bonus dice to hand for kind of navigating around, maybe sneaking around the city or something like that, then you can have it.
Ooh, thank you very much.
So why?
Yeah, because that's definitely part of her thing, right? She's like, ooh, there's lots of winding alleys and nooks and crannies in this place. That's useful.
Yeah.
Where can I slip away and be invisible in this city? So
Nice, cool. All right. Yeah. So come nightfall, you manage to find your way back to the boarding house that you've got in there, and yeah, Nikos is waiting for you. He is dressed in somewhat kind of like what I guess what he would kind of like dub as like working clothes, the kind of like soft leathers and like neutral tones. That it will definitely allow him to and help him to like sneak about a bit.
And Myria changes into like the trousers that she wears when she's fighting, and she's got like a looser shirt that gives her movement, but it's like again in neutral, darkish tones. All right.
So what are we doing? Speaking or sneaking?
Well, speaking's not going to get us far dressed like this, so we're sneaking.
Okay.
But have you got a skin of that wine, just in case?
Sure. And he gives you the skin.
Okay, yeah, so we're gonna try and sneak into the palace. Oh god, what is happening with my green screen? Yeah, we are gonna I think approach one of the gates, because obviously scaling the wall is kind of out. We're gonna scale a wall. But yeah, we're gonna approach a gate and kind of watch the guards for a little bit, see if there's any sort of disruption in their attention or anything like that, or an opportunity that we could get to.
How do I not have a freaking guard character in Roll20 yet? Ridiculous.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just gonna kill my green screen because it's flashing.
Yeah, it's doing a thing, huh? Where are the people in the? Oh, here we go. Sample characters. Guard. Lush. All right. Okay. I would like you to make me a sneak. Stealth. Is it stealth sneak? Sneak stealth? One way round. Check.
Pick this option. I'm just
And
looking at my stats.
Nikos is going to give you a bonus dice in assistance.
Good. Okay, hang on. One bonus die. 6! A big 6!
This is going well.
Good. Okay.
Wait, hang on. Why did that do 4d6 drop lowest 3?
I don't know.
Hang on. That should have just
Drop
been,
lowest
hold
1,
on.
right?
No, hang on one second. Let me just rewrite it. Still 6.
Cool. Okay. We are going to end tonight on a couple of Dornish guards spying you as you manage to sneak around one of the kind of smaller gates into the actual yard. And then you're kind of making a beeline. It's one of those scary maneuvers we do on Warzone where you're in the open for a second. You're like, and yeah, you hear a cry from a couple of Dornish guards. And that is where we will finish up tonight. As Myria gets herself into some trouble.
We're all screwed.
Really, just imagine the guards were just like tracking as she ran across the courtyard.
Yeah, there's a second of a couple of the guards just talking to each other like, she's not even trying. Oi!
She's got like a pot on her head and she's running, pretending to be.
Just holding this plant up. Yeah. Oh my god. Amazing. Cool. Well, we know where we're starting with you next time.
Hilarious.
Yep.
Good.
Look, it's gonna be fine. I know some people at the top.
Well, you do now. Lovely. All right then. Cool. Thanks very much, friends. That comes to the end of our first session of what I can't believe is our 5th fucking season. My god. Right. Yeah. We are gonna keep, I'm looking at all of you, to a tight 10 episode season like we intended. I know it's all me, I know, I'm sorry. And you know the clock's on because Aegor, whatever. Bit of Steel's just landed.
Yeah, Aegon.
So who's up for some daddy issues and treason? Yeah.
Fine.
I should have got the t-shirt. I should have worn the t-shirt.
Next time. All right. Let's go around, have a little debrief, have a little chat, see where we are on the internet and what you are doing there as well for everyone in the chat. Susie, congratulations. You have been caught by the I can't believe that they had a fucking oh wait, no, I suppose a 12. No, 13 technically for their passive awareness. Isn't too bad.
I was never gonna do it.
Actually. No. Congrats.
Mm-hmm.
This is
gonna be fine.
It is. This is not the end though, for sure. But it'll be interesting. I mean, it'll also, you know, if you've got to sneak around and try and do a stabby, then I mean, if they make you, this is going to be a bit harder though, isn't it? Well, yeah. But now they know your face.
They do know my face, but Myria may not be good at stealth, but she is good at talking to people. So I think ultimately she can talk her way out of this one.
Nice. It gives us a good intrigue scene though, for sure. Trying to figure out what you were doing,
100%.
what you were getting up to, all of that.
Yeah, because I had no idea what she was going to do. She actually made it into the palace. She's going to be like, "What's up, Marin? I'm back."
Oh my god. Yeah, fair. All right then. Oh my god.
But yeah, so I'm really excited for next time, and I very much enjoyed the session today. Getting to relax for a little bit with Myria was nice, as she's not really had much relaxation time like ever in her life. So getting to look at a hot boy's butt for a bit was nice. Nikos is already very good, and I can't wait for him to meet a horrible end because he's involved with a Greenmont woman. Therefore, terrible things are going to happen to him. But yeah, very excited for next week. I loved everybody's scenes today. Millie is a fantastic Lady Rowan. I
Yeah.
love the energy. I love the sass. I love the calling Simon and Enzo out on his shit stuff today. I'm all about it. Enzo charming as ever. And Simon is that problematic, disastrous fave that we all love very much. So
My
good job, everybody.
My favourite moment of the session was Millie saying, "I am aware." She was like, the Lord Treasurer. Yeah, no, I know who that is.
Yeah.
I do work with him.
Thanks for the mansplain.
Yeah, it was good.
It's all right. I think you're
it was
probably
lovely.
like the 20th person to do something like that to her this week. So she's kind of used to it.
No, it's good though. You're right. I love the energy. But yeah, cool. Susie, what are you doing? Where can we find you?
So yeah, I am Susie, otherwise known as Susanna Grace, a variety streamer. I do video games. I do art streams sometimes. I also do tabletop RPGs, and I help make them with Black Cats Gaming. We have just released the Spy Game, which is a 5e powered game of international espionage and action. Physical books coming really soon, so soon. And you can watch me and Sam and a bunch of other lovely people play the Spy Game every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, which is 8 p.m. GMT. Otherwise, catch me on twitch.tv/Susanna Grace, where I shoot boys, I draw boys, and I build stuff.
And fawn over
sometimes.
vampires.
And fawn over vampires.
Make this bit. Yeah.
Yeah. This is not enough.
Really good bits here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thanks, friend. And over to the lovely Jason. Simon is my problematic fave.
That's fair. I mean, I think it's just sort of par for the course. I do appreciate that. I think he's finally kind of hopefully realized how to maybe play the game a little bit after 5 years.
It's good. It's good so far.
Yeah. I taking him into a slightly different direction, seeing where he lands, and yeah, I loved the interactions with Lady Rowan. I think that he will quite quickly see this is a woman you work with, not charm or anything like that. So yeah, be a fun time. I think looking forward to see how it shapes the rest of the season.
Yeah, it should be good. It should be good fun. Are you up to anything on the internet? Like, have you got anything?
Not at the moment, unfortunately.
Cool. No worries.
I'm quite nomadic in terms of my presence on the internet. But if you want to find what I'm doing at any one point in time, at Just Jason Please on Twitter. That's PLS at the end. Yeah, just sort of going around, handing out good vibes and trying to just survive the year.
I see those good vibes, and I appreciate them whenever I see them.
Always. But yeah, much love to everybody who's watching. Much love to the fine and lovely cast here. It's so good to be back. And yeah, looking forward to the next sessions.
Cool. Thanks so much. Millie, how was it? You're muted.
It was really fun. I did wonder why I couldn't hear anything. Yeah, it was really, really fun, and I liked it a lot.
Good.
It was really interesting because you can talk like theoretically about bringing a character to life from an NPC, but actually getting her up on her feet and seeing how she interacts naturally with other people and like what buttons they press is a totally different thing.
Yeah, and you can't. This is kind of, I guess, just me kind of, remunerating on it a little bit for people watching, maybe, but for just humor me for a second. You can't get precious if we're in this situation, like as a GM. You can't get precious over the other day. Like, no, they're going to do it differently than I did, and they're not going to bring the same energy and stuff. Like, of course they're not. And the point is that you bring your own thing to it, and I loved every bit of it.
I think, to be honest, though, that how you played her in the scenes was very much an inspiration. I think she would still have acted that way in those same scenes. It's just she was basically put in a romantic comedy today.
Yeah.
We're maze people now. We live in the maze. It's just me and Enzo and Simon.
I saw the naming of the maze children as well.
Yeah. We just emerge 5 years later, just dressed in tiny and leaves. It's going to be great, but it's really nice to play with that kind of budding whatever it is with her and Enzo. That it's like a dance, right? Neither of them want to be the one to be like, what's happening here? It's so much fun.
Good. Awesome. Well, so you had a birthday stream not long ago, but like, are you up to anything else?
I have been temporarily delayed because my stupid awful house did stupid awful things. So we're now currently waiting for an electrician to come and give us plug sockets and stuff so I can finish plastering a wall.
Oh.
So I'll be doing this, and I might stream at some point, but focus is really getting the house to stop leaking, to be honest. But I'm over on Twitter a lot as Amelia Tyler, because that's my name. I post stupid stuff there all the time. Today, I posted outtakes from Baldur's Gate 3, where I am the narrator, and apparently I am losing my mind at a rate of knots. So enjoy.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be great.
Thank you for having me and for trusting me with her.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, me neither. That'll be awesome.
She was totally on the balcony, like waiting to see if Enzo was going to like shimmy up the wall or something. Yeah, just like, is he going to do the pirate thing? It seems like the kind of thing he'd do.
Tom, was that an option?
It's a bit cliche, isn't it? You know, it's a bit. No, I think Enzo's a bit more.
Enzo's a bit more laissez-faire than that, right?
Yeah, he's a bit more kind of, well, if it'll happen, it'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll just be, it's in the moment kind of thing. Who knows though? Who knows? As the season progresses and we adapt to life within the maze, maybe he will do something like that. Who knows? Who knows? It is so much fun to be back, though. You don't realize just how much you miss it until you're back to it and doing it and playing the character and listening to all the stories and the role play. It's just, it's so good. It is really so good. And I'm genuinely just absolutely fascinated by how the story's going to progress, because we're in Highgarden. There are literally ears everywhere listening to everything you say. And what Millie said, I'm interested to see how the relationship between Enzo and Faye goes. Because it's a bit different with when you have someone actually playing it. When you have a DM playing it, they're kind of
just
limited.
Making you awkward. Yeah, I know.
It's not so much that, but it's just you're kind of limited to what the dice say. So if I go persuasion, I've hit you with a 25. Well, you're going to say, okay, well, that's a great success. I got to do this. When there's an actual person behind it, it gets a lot more complicated. It's a lot more interesting.
You're calling the GM not a person, because that's just rude. That's just rude, Sam. I think
he'd be absolutely right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is some kind of clever deep fake. No,
it's like
not that good.
So yeah, I'm yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for the next episode. Really, it's gonna be great.
Nice.
Still in the maze.
Yeah,
still in the maze.
Still in the maze.
I feel the maze is going to play a really important part. I don't know how yet, but it's going to be central to the entire plot. I got a feeling. And see, he's making notes. See, so
you know how I write, Tom.
I do know how you write.
Someone says, "Oh, I'm interested in this throwaway thing." I'm just going to write maze. There he is. Yeah,
that's it.
Well, no, because if the maze is a fun thing for us, then we should totally use it, because that's what we're here for, right?
Well, it's just, at some point, you just need a singer to turn around to Enzo and just go, "It wasn't made for you." It's Westworld reference. There you go.
Oh, I never watched Westworld, I'm afraid.
I don't think I've got that far yet.
We were like, that happens in season 1, Sam.
I watched season 1 probably in some kind of period of illness, and I don't know, binged it in like a week or something. I don't remember what happens. Some of them are robots, some of them aren't. That's about as much as I remember. Wasn't made for you. Oh wait, no, it's the kid. I remember now. Yeah, I remember the kid. Okay,
It got there eventually.
help me out, Tom. Are you doing anything on the internet besides this?
No, not really.
Cool.
I'm too
All right.
busy with work, so I'm too exhausted to do anything on the internet.
That's
so I
fair.
just
You
don't.
do a real job with
I do a real job.
manual work.
Well, everyone
as
does
opposed
a
to
real
all of
job.
us.
It's just
No,
yeah,
not mine.
I do a job that's got a somewhat steady income.
What's that like?
It's
all
fun.
right. It's all right. It's like the thing is there aren't. Well, it's a good thing. There aren't any surprises, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. Good thing is when you get a particularly good month. Bad thing is when you got the shitty months.
Enzo is now making so much more sense.
Yeah,
Constant surprises.
yeah. I can't do it in my actual life, so I've got to do it in my role-playing life. So I'm channeling the inner me that I want to get out into Enzo.
Fair. That's just that's all we're doing. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all the messages in chat about us being back and it being very welcome and everything like that. So yeah, thank you everybody. It's good to be back. And yeah, we're going to be back every other week. As you have to blame Jonathan Fry for this, because every other Saturday I play Dark Sun with him. Because he has got, shout out to him, he's got a fantastic Patreon where you can play games with him and you can get news on what he's doing and you can get sneaky peeks at kind of new stuff that he's working on, and it's awesome. And he's a good person and a great GM, and I'm having lots of fun with Dark Sun. So next week I'll be playing that with him in a private game. The following week we'll be back, and I think we'll be doing the trial as a quick one. I told you it'd be like 10 episodes. So yeah, we'll look to that. So yeah, I don't know the cast just yet, Lady Purple. We'll get it up soon as we know. Aside from these lovely folks around the internet, if you want to see what very rare tweets I send out and the occasional cross-dressing pics, you can get me at RPG Webby on Twitter. Otherwise, you can find us around the internet at Follow Black Cats here on Twitch, over on the Twitters as well, or you can find us at blackcatsgaming.com. If you want to even buy a copy of the spy game, the GM screen, the missions we've got in little PDFs, or electronically at the moment, you can go over to blackcatsgamingshop.com, and when the physical release is out, you can head over there as well to grab yourself a copy of the hardbacks and the screen and stuff like that when we get back at the actual tabletops. As Susie said, if you liked us, if you like what we're doing, you want to check out the spy game, we do an actual play of that every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. GMT, or at the moment, so 3 p.m. Eastern. So we play a campaign called Hexcrawl, where it's all kind of futuristic Amazon taking over the world type stuff. And Susie at least is Agent Athrena, their hacker extraordinaire. So yeah, thanks everyone for welcoming us back so friendly. I have not prepared a raid. I apologise. So let's just head out. We'll see you next in a couple of weeks, unless we see you on Wednesday, first of all, for Hexcrawl. See you all, folks. Thank you very much indeed. Bye-bye now.